sound check, and I thought, I don't know what I thought, but I'm here now. Let me raise this up to my level. Check, 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 check. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for coming out here today, and I don't say that in some celebrity way. Thank you for coming out here today. I say that very sincerely. I am not going to be able to get through this today because it's 3 hours. You feel like putting in 3 hours at 8 o'clock, it's all good. You may have to come back. I'm gonna go through as much of this as I can. Let me tell you what's going on. First of all, I'm releasing a book today, actually the draft of a book today called My Philosophy. And I just brought a galley of it right here. All of you, make sure you get a copy of this as well. It's part of your admission here as well. You get the draft of this book. It's 151 pages. No one in the world has it yet. The book comes out in 2026, January 2026. I've already finished it. This is it. I might add maybe 1 or 2 more things. An editor has not looked at it. This is just all me, straight grammar, whatever it is straight writing. But usually when I release books, if you're lucky enough to be in a room like this, you get the draft copy. Now I made this at Staples, that's why I'm showing it to you. This copy right here. But you can make the same copy yourself if you need to see it in this format. I personally like reading books in book format, in that sense. Not nothing against that digital book, and if you talk to my daughter, Time, running around somewhere, she might be able to get you a digital copy of the book itself as well. There'll also be an audio version of this book as well. So let's see what we got going on here. Oh, the format of this, which is why I say I'm not going to be able to get through all of it. I mean, I'll talk until you guys start falling out. But it's philosophy, and it's not meant to go through the whole thing, really, to be honest with you. It's made to make you think. And it's just levels of thinking that we're going to go through right now. This is for philosophers. It's for hip-hop teachers, those that are in care of others, meaning that you are a teacher yourself. You're teaching a class on either philosophy or history, sociology, a little bit of paleoanthropology if we can get there with this. But what we're talking about is philosophy, and I probably should be using this mic. Check, check, check. Okay, so what we're talking about is philosophy. The reason it's called, well, I wrote it out. Hold up, come on, get the curtain up. First of all, let me just go through this real quick, because I wrote my speech out here. Normally I would have a computer set up, I'd read off the computer. I didn't want to go through all that. So I put the speech here, and I'll read it from here. It's even better for me. I don't have to use glasses and all this stuff. But let me start off and say that this is 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. Those that might know, this is the best way to start a hip-hop gathering, a hip-hop philosophical lecture, is to give you a little background. 1520 Sedgwick, that's the front of the building right there. This is where Cool DJ Herc set up his equipment. This is just a corner shot. That little corner right there is where Herc set up his equipment. This is inside 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. This is some of the graffiti that's in the courtyard area as well. Some more graffiti on the side, just giving you this. And by the way, the reason I'm showing you 1520 Sedgwick is also because we give courses on hip hop. I would say the most authentic courses in the world, but let me humble myself. We give courses on hip hop that certify hip hop's teachers culturally. I say this with humility, but I have to say the truth. We have a unique brand of hip hop knowledge because we did a certain kind of work. There are all kinds of hip hop courses, classes, people saying all types of stuff. But they didn't do the work, and they don't know the originators. So, and that's not to discredit anybody's work, because you can always do research and stuff like that. But what makes our course the most authentic is that the actual founders and originators of hip hop itself are our teachers, our resident scholars. Most universities and institutions, they hire all kinds of other people, except the actual people that made the culture. And so there's several levels to that too. One is that they're stealing our cultural heritage by not allowing the actual cultural creators to speak. Secondly, they're robbing our children of their cultural heritage. The teaching of hip hop is an office. It's an office, it's a profession. This is something we're supposed to be able to pass on to our children for their benefit. The first people that need to learn how to teach hip hop is hip hoppers. Yes. And their children. And this is a growing profession in the world. And what, by the time 10, maybe 5 more years go by, it'll be just like rap music. Oh, the teaching of hip hop is a $1 billion industry. Everybody's doing it. Well, we watched what happened with rap. We watched what happened with DJing. We're not allowing that to happen with the teaching of hip hop as well. We're a little wiser now. So we start our teaching of hip hop at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. No other course on hip hop on the planet can start there. I'm the curator of 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. I have the keys to the place. Nobody else has that as well. And I offer 1520 to anyone who wants to teach, but I'm giving you the difference between this course and others. This course has the keys. When you are certified with our course, it's a 3-day course. We start you at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. When you're certified, you get the keys too. In fact, this is 1520 Sedgwick, the birthplace of hip hop itself. We start you there in the Bronx. We give the first lesson. It's a 3-day course, so day 1 is at 1520. Day 2 is at the Temple of Hip Hop in Newark, New Jersey. You jump over from the Bronx, go over to Newark real quick, from one hood to the other, over into Newark. This is our facility, the Temple of Hip Hop. We're at 55 Ludlow Street, Newark, New Jersey. You get 2 days here. Here is where we really break down, and we go through the elements. 2 days of it, we teach. You get the history, you get the knowledge, you get the way you're supposed to teach hip hop as well. 2 days. This is also a hip hop institution. It's the only all hip hop institution in the world. Hip hop's, whenever people are teaching hip hop, they're teaching it in institutions that are not hip hop. Right. Well, I'll say that again. Most people who are teaching hip hop today are teaching in institutions that are not hip hop. When you study with us, you learn from an institution that is hip hop. It's called the Temple of Hip Hop. Yes. And you learn directly from hip hop's founders, pioneers, originators, all of it, right here. So this is me. I'll read this top part. And also one of the reasons why I'm reading this as well is because this is being recorded. So if you'd like a recording of this, just leave your name with whoever we're supposed to, either Joey or Time, leave your name with them. And when we chop this, edit it up, get the audio back, you should get a copy of this as well. Now located at 55 Ludlow Street, Newark, New Jersey, the Temple of Hip Hop is set aside from the commercial exploitation of hip hop as entertainment and stands as the first international all hip hop cultural center focused upon hip hop as the global culture that its founders intended it to be. It is here at the Temple of Hip Hop that we finally take hip hop seriously and realize the visions of our childhood. I'm skipping over at least 30 years when I say this part as well. The Temple of Hip Hop was a vision that we had in 1994. And we achieved it some 30 years later at the 50th anniversary of hip hop. This is me in there, of course, teaching teachers how to teach hip hop. This is just some of the artwork. This is original artwork too, by the way. There's a guy named Bradford Brown, does these 3D renditions of hip hop icons and so on. This is a picture of us just putting it up putting it together as well. This is a nighttime shot, just again, the Temple of Hip Hop. And of course, you're always welcome to just stop by. You don't have to take a course to walk in the building. It's a community center as well. We do a lot of other stuff, kids, after school programs, a lot of giveaways. The city of Newark works this building as well. So you got all types of conventions and things going on as well. So if you're ever in Newark or you know someone in Newark that want to get a big dose of hip hop, especially on Friday and Saturdays, send them over to the temple. So now, what is my philosophy? This is where I start. What it is that I was going to read here, I'm just going to read it here. And I'm going to record it while I'm recording it as well. This is the flash drive. I'm handing out flash drives today. Make sure each and every one of you get one. It's a flash drive of this book, like I said at the beginning. Make sure you get it. It's called My Philosophy, Hip Hop Beyond Entertainment. I call this book study, My Philosophy, not just because of the popular rap song and video, My Philosophy, that I produced and did here last night. And produced for my second album, By All Means Necessary, in 1988, but also because first, all philosophy is the perspective of that philosopher. There is no one philosophy that fits all. Now we're gonna go through this right now. This is a hardcore course on philosophy, and I'm going to speak quickly because we got a lot of reading to do. We'll save the kid, write down your questions. We'll probably have some time at the end. However, most philosophers of both Eastern and Western influence agree that philosophy in any style begins with an interest in wisdom, justice, and truth, being able to discern cause from effect, right from wrong, and real from fake. Is a core principle, a core philosophical skill. As with reason and rational thinking, most philosophers share this view of philosophy, and so do I. But for whatever reason, most philosophers cannot apply the traditional principles of philosophy to hip-hop. When they hear the word hip-hop, it is whatever image that is being portrayed of hip-hop in mass media that they see. This is what they see in their minds. Young black people in scullies and hoodies questioning reality, morality, God, the universe, and nature for themselves is just beyond the comprehension of most so-called philosophers today. And we have to ask why, even how. Of course, we are all warned about judging a book by its cover, but we still judge books at first glance by their covers. Those of us that actually get to read the book can be considered those that did more research and thus have a deeper and more precise understanding of the subject. But still, most don't go this far. Most don't have the time to go this far. And with hip hop, which most consider to be a form of black entertainment, a deeper investigation into hip hop as philosophy never even comes to mind. It is here that one must begin to ask about the accuracy of what we perceive as philosophy today, when only one point of view, the so-called Western point of view, is the only point of view that philosophy offers. How real is philosophy then? How real is the philosopher that lives in an urban environment yet knows little to nothing regarding hip-hop? And think about this. I'm reading quickly. But think about this, all of the philosophy majors, philosophy professors, philosophy degrees being put out, this and that, blah, blah, blah. You don't know nothing about hip hop. How informed is the philosophy professor that teaches in an urban environment, yet finds it difficult to relate to hip hop culturally? So he ignores hip hop philosophically. How is this a well-rounded philosopher? The search for fundamental truth requires an honest mind, a mind free from jealousy, anger, fear, self-doubt, and hate. A mind capable of responding and reacting to truth. And the key words here are responding and reacting. How fast do you respond to truth, to facts, and to evidence? Yes, we may cry out for truth, justice, and wisdom, but many more lack the actual character, and underline that word in your mind, the actual character to achieve such states of awareness. Yes, many will profess with their mouths how they stand for truth, justice, and wisdom, but then they can become offended when confronted with such truth, justice, and wisdom for real. We see it all the time, especially when those hard questions pertaining to American colonialism, imperialism, slavery, and genocide demand answers. No, this book study is not about American colonialism, imperialism, slavery, and or genocide. But among the truths explored in this particular study are the lingering effects of past colonialism, imperialism, slavery, and genocide on today's practice and understanding of not just philosophy, but of religion, law, science, and history as well. We may all cry out for justice, but the United States of America is a colonial enterprise, and colonial enterprises are both illegal and immoral. You see, these words are these are philosophical terms. Illegal and immoral. So how are Americans supposed to arrive at any kind of real justice while resting upon a 400-year history of deliberate terrorism, hatred, and poverty that no one wants to seriously talk about, much less remedy, and whose effects are still being felt today? Again, we may all cry out for justice, but justice is only available in just societies. We may try through law and or through education to make the American society more civil, but such civility is only found amongst the citizenry of a true civilization. And respectfully, the United States of America has proven itself to not be an authentic civilization. And I want you to understand that. Take that in slowly, because we protest, we join marches, we write, we speak out. But you're never going to get justice in an unjust society. There's never going to be civility in a place that's not a civilization. So all our crying out and this and that and so on and so on is useless. It's useless. We need to be working on civilization. I'm bringing this together because this is the job of the philosopher. The job of the philosopher is not to quote other philosophers. The job of the philosopher is to establish, maintain, and further develop civilization. We philosophers can't really blame the country we live in, because whatever low level the country we live in is in, it's our fault. If philosophers don't stand up and teach its society civility for real, how are they supposed to know? No one else is studying civility. No one is studying science. No one is studying astronomy, agriculture, architecture, history, the building blocks of civilization. Nobody's really studying that. We're just doing our thing. But those that do study and do know how civilizations are formed and built, why are we not speaking? And especially in these times of lawlessness. Well, I tell you why. Because most philosophers are cowards too. Let's establish that. Most are cowards, and the word is coward. Not cautious, not conservative, cowardice. Comfortable in a university quoting Aristotle and Plato. While just outside the door, we getting shot and hung in 2025. So if philosophers are not dealing with the reality that they find themselves in, what philosophy are you really, what are we doing? It's not philosophy we're practicing. Philosophy is all about truth, justice, and wisdom. There's no wisdom out here. Because the minute you stand up and speak the truth, oh, well, you can be canceled. Whatever that means. See, I'm not from the age of the internet, so I don't really like, none of that kind of bothers me. Oh, they're gonna cancel you. I don't even know what that shit means. I don't know, I live life. I live in the real world. That internet shit, oh, they're gonna say this and they're gonna say that, they're saying it anyway. Like, what? Nothing's changing my real life. But this is the job of philosophy, to point you to real life. What's real? What's fake? What's illusion? What's solid? If nobody's teaching this, how is the society supposed to know it? That's why we're teaching it now. This knowledge I'm going to give you today, if I can get through most of it, you'll see how it will change your thinking about things, and then you'll be able to make right decisions in other areas. Too many Americans struggle with civility on all levels, from civil rights to environmental responsibility. Too many Americans struggle to be truly civil. We struggle with, we want to call ourselves a civilization, and we struggle to be civil. You can't have it both ways. Most don't even know what true civilization is. And with most of today's philosophers either cowardly silent, or stuck in a college classroom somewhere, or have simply turned their teaching of philosophy into a business which only benefits them, the rest of the community, nation, continues to suffer in ignorance, not understanding why things are the ways in which they are, and how they actually got to be that way. That's the job of the philosopher. How did things get to be like this? And why? Why are things like this? And speak truthfully. Why? But if we start speaking truthfully, this is where the problem comes in. Right here. We're going to start speaking truthfully. We want justice. No justice, no peace. We want justice. How can any of us possibly think about justice while we're standing on stolen land? Right? Woo. I don't care who you are, African, black, white, Asian, it don't matter. You living in America, you're a colonist. Do you not understand that you're living off of imperialism, colonialism? We only look at capitalism. That's the weakest, that's the effects. The actual system itself is what's evil. But we don't see that evil. As long as I'm getting mine, I'm good. As long as my protest gets met, I'm good. We don't think about the Native Americans, and I don't even know how to, what is that, Native American? Like, right. What is that? Right. Don't let me get you started. Shit. Okay, what is that? But it's ways to think. Even in your speech, when you're just talking, are you supporting colonialism, supporting imperialism, an agent of that evil, and you don't even know it, and you praying to God? You consider yourself spiritual. Why? Because whatever you're reading and studying helps your emotions. That's what we call spiritual. The minute I tell you something that cracks your emotions, you ain't with it no more. I don't believe in that no more. Right, because it don't match your emotional state. If God was to walk through the door right now, we'd all ignore her. We'd all ignore her. She's probably here now. Oh man, you done spent the whole lecture off. Real talk. But that's the point. You're thinking. How do you think? What are you in support of subconsciously? Let's go forward. The world then continues in its ignorance and undisciplined ways, with philosophers of all backgrounds silent to this mass insanity, as opposed to confronting the obvious misconceptions of one's society and fixing them. And this is not a critique. This is an accurate observation, even a call to action, as to what today's philosophers and sophies should be more concerned with. If a society is uncivilized, it is because no one is civilizing it, them, us. No one is cultivating the society. Where then are the public philosophers that actually take time to show their communities what justice is, what wisdom is, and what true civility is? We live in a colonial-based society where injustice has become the norm and accountability is non-existent, where true civilization is lost because the earth's true sophies have not been heard. The earth's true sophies are the first to establish the concept of civilization for their communities. And so if the voices of the earth's first philosophers are not heard, how then is true civilization supposed to be maintained or even established? Imperial invasions of foreign lands and people, followed up with colonialism, slavery, and theft, erases any notion of civility, or civilization for a society formed in this way, and equally prevents such enlightened states of human development to be achieved or even continued by that society. Even when it comes to philosophy itself, how can you claim to be even close to any kind of universal truth or universal law without a knowledge of the indigenous way of seeing the earth? Nothing one-sided is universal or absolute, and this is the problem right here. Colonial-based studies in a variety of areas acts as if the colonist is the only being in existence. Everyone else's view of the same environment is always not as valid, not as real, and not as important or as true as the colonial view on everything. Unfortunately, too many philosophers are going along with this blatant form of mental slavery, and this is why I am presenting my philosophy. So what is philosophy? Quick crash course. I'm saving you 4 years of philosophy class. Right here, let's get right to it. We're going to start with the compact edition of the Oxford English Dictionary. This is the authority on the English language. I choose the Oxford because we're speaking English. And to get down, especially when you're talking about philosophy, you got to know the meanings, the multiple meanings of words. In a colonial society, we've been reduced to seeing reality through words, through symbols, through numbers, through shapes like triangles and circles and squares. Nature don't produce none of this. This is all imperialism. Writing, reading, all of it. And I love it. We're reading and writing, right? I just wrote a book. But we're discussing philosophy right now. We're discussing the mind before the mind. We're discussing real time and space. You got to step outside for a minute and look at your situation. That's why we come to the Oxford English first. We got to deal with the language we speak. The English language doesn't have enough words for us, for none of us. The thoughts on your mind are way more vast than your language. Every one of you in this room, doesn't matter what your race or your ethnicity and culture is, you all have an indigenous ancestor that was invaded, enslaved, raped, and robbed. It's the only way that this imperial colonial system is in place. White folk in this room, you have an ancestor that was part of the earth. You see, I'm going to deal with each one of the illusions we all hold of ourselves. When white people think about natural and nature, they always go to somebody else. Well, why? No. Why are you going India, African? I'm in the African rainforest. No, wait, hold up. Where your ancestors at?
Word.
Where because once you start looking for your ancestors, now you're going to see truth. Now you're going to see wisdom. Now it starts with the ancestors. It starts with the first people to birth you. In European culture, they call white people's your ancestors rustic. Rustic means you live outside in the woods, in the forest, or a forester. You live off the land, you outside. This is what imperial forces were looking down on. The original people of the land all shared the same mentality. It's the land. In fact, it was the land that was the mentality. So everybody who's working the land shared the same mentality. This is long before race, even long before ethnicity and separation and all that. The land told us who we was. You work in the same, there's only one way to work land. Think about this for a minute. The same way you grow a tomato in Africa is the same way you grow it in Mexico. If you put a mustard seed in the ground, it's not going to grow roses. Nature is exact. And so one dude working with nature already learned what nature got to offer. So when you meet somebody you don't know, if they working on nature, you still can communicate. Nature was the internet. Nature was the phone call. Nature was what we thought through. Nature. But we got away from nature. How did we get away from nature? We started writing and reading and interpreting reality through mathematics. Now I love mathematics, science, all of that. But again, we're talking philosophy. Step out that for a minute. Mathematics is not the thing itself. Neither is science. I'll say it again. When it comes to reality, these tools to look at reality is not reality. Math is an observer of reality. Math is not reality. Math is a human tool to look at reality. Math documents the patterns of nature, the regularity of nature. That's mathematics, the patterns of nature. Science is also an observer of the functions of nature. But science is not nature itself. So we stopped looking at science and math and forgot nature. We think we're looking at nature by looking through science to see nature. No! You're never going to touch nature through science. In fact, the latest discovery in quantum mechanics, this is science. The latest discovery in science, which is quantum physics, this is what everybody's head messed up over. Quantum mechanics is the latest version in science. The punchline to quantum mechanics, now get this, the punchline to this whole thing is that the observer is affecting what is being observed. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, let me get this through my head real quick. So what you're telling me is, everything I see is really an inward projection of my own whatevers, illusions, knowledge, awareness. I'm only seeing my awareness. This is according to quantum mechanics, according to the double slit theory, you look at something, it collapses into the form you can perceive. You're not looking at it, it's in wave form. It could be anything. So now the prison comes over the scientist's mind. Everything you see and you made up. How could you know anything? You don't know nothing. I'm not even teasing. You don't know anything. Because everything you know is from your own mind. All you doing is looking at a mirror. That's not knowledge. That's not awareness. That's you regurgitating your own ego. That's quantum mechanics. That's quantum mechanics. That's the latest version of science. Is you playing games with your own head. And you calling that shit reality. Okay. So what is philosophy? Is the question. We go to the Oxford English Dictionary. Like I said, it is the authority on the English language. It's probably one of the best dictionaries out. And the reason it is because it deals with the etymology of words. Most dictionaries don't deal with the etymology, the history of the word itself. The Oxford English gives you that history, and that's why we're dealing with that. Let me pull out this pointer real quick. Get my, oh, sorry, Joey. What did I do? Pull this pointer out real quick. I just want to start showing. So now I'm going to leave this microphone for those, the sound man, this recording. I'm going to try to, well, I guess you'll get it some other way. So what I want to show you here, philosophy, okay? Reading down here, this is called the etymology, this is part of it. Part of the etymology of the word, with the other spellings of the word, where the word comes from, etc., etc. So now we read, in the original and widest sense, and this is important too, when you're doing philosophy, words like first, original, primitive, these are the most important words. The study of metaphysics, study of first causes, is interested in this because you can't go with the effect. When you talk about philosophy, you're talking about the difference between cause and effect. So what you want to know first is the causes. That's why we get the Oxford English. Why? Because we're speaking English. Yes. That was dope. That was rhythmic. So read the bottom there. Read the bottom there. What is philosophy? The love, study, or pursuit of wisdom, or of knowledge of things and their causes, whether theoretical or practical. Let me also say this, just for the record. This is the compact edition of the Oxford English Dictionary. The Oxford English Dictionary comes in a 22-volume set. Same size books, they're about so big like that. The same size books, 22-volume set. They crunched all them books down into these 2 books. And they give you a magnifying glass because the words are microscopic at that point. So they give you a magnifying glass. You got to actually blow this stuff up. That's what I'm actually doing, taking photos and blowing them up so that we can see them. This is where the knowledge is actually hidden at, right here. Oxford English Dictionary, it's a trip. This whole book is a trip. Anyway, but philosophy, what does it begin with? Love.
Wow.
This is the part we all seem to forget. Everybody go to the knowledge, the wisdom, and whoa! No, the first word is love. Love, L-O-V-E, love. This is what leads the philosopher right here. This is, now see, now I do have to come over. Okay, so come over here. So this is this up here. We're moving down. This is this here, right? Whether theoretical, practical, what is it? Wisdom, knowledge of these things, so on. Here is the etymology, more history. We're going to focus here. The definition of Cicero. This is Cicero's definition, and it tells you, I'm giving you some knowledge on how to read this book too. This says confer, quote, 1586. That's here. This quote, 1586. So this is in Latin. This is the translation. Let's look at that. This is Latin, that's the translation. Blow it up for you. This is, let's read this. And whoa, look how they spell in philosophy. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Philosophia, la la la. Philosophy is a love, again that word at the front. A love or desire of wisdom, speaking in Old English, wisdom, or otherwise It is a profession, study, and exercise of that wisdom, very important, which is the knowledge of divine and human things. Now let's go back. Philosophy is a love or desire of wisdom, or otherwise it is a profession, study, exercise of that wisdom. This part here, very important. Otherwise, it is a profession, study, exercise of that wisdom. Do it. Not just study it. Yes. Do it. Be it. What is philosophy? The exercise of wisdom. Not just the profession, not just the study, but you're going to do this. Now, which is known, and what are you doing? What is the knowledge? Which is the knowledge of divine and human things. This is why we're going back to the original, because everybody got books out, DVDs, all type of stuff. Oh, and philosophy's this and that and the other. No, it's not. It's right here in its definition. The definition is you studying divine things. You studying human and divine knowledge. You got to act that out. That's not just a study in a book or quoting some other philosopher. No, you got to act this out. This is the American heritage. I'm showing you this as well. American heritage. This is not their artwork. This is a coffee stain on my desk. This is American heritage. And here we have philosophy. Now, the thing about American heritage is that this is a very good dictionary. American Heritage, advise you to get one of these. American Heritage, this is the 5th edition, the latest one, this out. I think they're coming out with a 6th. But this is very good. At the back, they give you the what is called Proto-Indo sounds, Proto-European, Proto-Indo-European sounds, as well as Semitic sounds of the words in which we speak. Words have meanings, but sounds have intention. And if you want to get past just the meaning of a word, you go into the sound of the word, and the sound is an intention, which usually matches up with the meaning of the word. So this book gives you that at the back of this book, and that's why I love this book here, the American Heritage Dictionary. But now they give you the American side of things, the American definitions of things as well. They rest upon Oxford English as well. All dictionaries really do. But they go further. They don't give you etymology. They just use Oxford English definitions and then go further. Oxford is Britain, England. American Heritage is obviously American. Two different ways to speak, and most times we have two different definitions when you compare dictionaries as well. Don't go to England saying you speak English. You speak American. That's why we have an American Heritage Dictionary. Philosophy, the study of nature, causes, or principles of reality, knowledge, or values based on logical reasoning, too. A system of thought based on or involving such a study. And they give you the example, the philosophy of Hume. The study of the theoretical underpinnings of a particular field or discipline, study of history or philosophy of history, an underlying theory or set of ideas relating to a particular field or activity of life as a whole. Then they give you all of these kind of things here. Philosophos, lover of wisdom, philosopher, see philosopher, this kind of thing, we'll go there. Here's philosopher in the same book. A study or specialist in philosophy, a person who lives and thinks according to a specific philosophy, and 3, a person who is calm and rational under any circumstances. This is interesting, this piece right here, that's actually in the definition of a philosopher. Someone who is calm and rational under any circumstances. That's not in the original Oxford English definition. That's an American definition right there, something to think about. Here's philo. What does philo mean? Love. Philo is the Greek word for love. What is Sophie? Sophie is the Greek word for wisdom. Put them together. When combined, these words become philosophy, or love wisdom, or more commonly love of wisdom, or lover of wisdom, which is the philosopher. Most people overlook the fact that it is first love that leads the name and the character of the philosopher and philosophy. In fact, a strict literal translation of philo and sophy defines philosophy as being simply love wisdom, or the wisdom of love, or knowledge of love. And this word love in ancient times had more to do with soul and to creation and to unity and attraction than it had to do with affection or care or even sex, although it meant these things as well. In fact, in certain Greek circles, young male philosophers were also the physical lovers of their sophies, teachers. Although it was common practice amongst both the Greek military as well as certain Greek schools of philosophy, everyone, however, didn't approve of such student-teacher relations, as is pointed out in Professor Eva Kuhl's book, The Reign of the Phallus. Now, I didn't put her quote here because I'm moving fast. It's in the book, though. When you get your PowerPoint, you can read what she said about this. The main Greek words for love are agape, eros, and philia. These are the words for love in Greek. Agape refers to non-sexual love, a selfless, unconditional, spiritual kind of love. Eros refers to a sexual, passionate, physical kind of love. Eros, this is what they're doing over here. Eros, they over here, okay? Philia refers to an affectionate friendship, a loyalty, a trust kind of love. This is the type of love, the friendship, loyalty, and trust kind of love that the words philosopher and philosophy refer to. That's why it's called phila, philo, philia. It comes from this. This is the type of love we're dealing with. Friendship, loyalty, trust. The very word philosophy preserves a very ancient understanding about life and creation. Looking at the Greek word philosophy, we first come to the word phi. When most people see phi, they pronounce it as phi. However, phi is not a word, it is actually a Greek letter. And it was originally pronounced as an aspirated P, heard as puff, with a puff of air at the end. That's what an aspirated P is, puff. It's not P, it's puff. Aspirated P. In classical Greek, 5th century BC, the letter PHI, which is this, in uppercase and that, in lowercase, was a versatile symbol that could mean different things depending on context. The letter phi, spelled in Greek like that, however, originally pronounced as pa, was often spelled like this, PH, P with a little H on the top. Some scholars say that the PH sound comes from the Phoenician pe, but the Oxford English Dictionary cites its etymology as coming from the Sanskrit ba. Over time, in Koine Greek, Koine meaning common or shared Greek, phi began to be pronounced as an F, or should I say this, pa began to be pronounced as an F sound when it was originally pronounced as a pa sound. PHI was not phi, it was pa. Remember, in classical Greek, the letter phi, represented as this, and uppercase, and that in lowercase, is a versatile letter that can mean different things depending on context. Well, that other context is the fact that this same letter is also used to represent the mathematical equation 1.618, also known as the golden ratio, representing beauty, proportion, and universal order in nature. It's actually a different symbol, which I'm going to get to right now. This equals this, which is a mathematical constant found in the properties of human bodies, nautilus shells, flower petals, spiral galaxies, DNA structures, and in ancient pre-Western architecture, has been called the divine proportion because the very design of life seems to be woven with phi, or here, pi. Therefore, phi is not just a letter, or a number, that's pi, number pi, it, P-H-I, preserves the evidence of divine harmony. This is why philosophy is spelt the way it is. The very term philosophy preserves an ancient understanding about mathematics, sound, and divine proportions. What was commonly known is that the word philosophy comes from the original Greek word philosophia, which is this, which in original Greek is pronounced as philosophia, or in even more ancient times, palosopeia, or pelosopeia. In the word palosopeia, the lo and so are recognized as just syllables. And los has no meaning in Greek or Latin or Hindi. However, in Italian, another major linguistic influence upon both Greek and Latin, most people always say everything comes from Latin, everything comes from Greek. Well, it's a two-way street on that. However, in Italian, another major linguistic influence upon Greek and Latin, lo so means I know it, or simply I know. Lo, it, and so, I know. From the verb sapere, meaning to know. Facts, or meaning to know what? Facts or information. So if someone tells you something and you respond with lo so, you're saying, yeah, I already know that. Applying this original Italian definition of lo so to the part of philosophy, or palosopa, we can interpret the word sound philosophy to mean phi, I know phi, or pi, I know pi. This is also applied to the word philosopher as the knower of phi or pi, or the knower of creation, the knower of divine proportion. However, the word philosophy is a compound of philos, meaning love, and this, sophia, meaning wisdom. This shows us that phi in philos is more than simply love. The phi in philos and or philoso as a word points to a knower of the golden ratio and even a friend of life. That's what the philosopher is. A friend of life, a knower of creation, someone working with nature to move this whole reality forward. This is how you manipulate reality, through nature. From a hip-hop perspective, this is the beginning of philosophy and the philosopher. Here, the term philosopher is not just a lover of wisdom, but also a friend of life. A knower of the functioning of creation, which some very wise writers in antiquity preserved in the very spelling of the word philosophy. The Oxford English Dictionary defines philosophy as the love, study, and pursuit of wisdom, as well as having knowledge of things in their courses, whether theoretical or practical. Philosophy, then, is the pursuit of wisdom, or the love of wisdom. Wisdom in the same book is defined as the capacity, well, here it is defined as the capacity of judging rightly in matters relating to life and conduct, soundness of judgment in the choice of means and ends. That's basically a quote from here. I'm not getting it here, but then it's a two-page, so it starts, here's the etymology, wisdom, it's down here, capacity of judging rightly in matters related, and then it comes up here to conduct. So I wrote it out here. But this is where it comes from. This is a direct quote from the Oxford English Dictionary. What is wisdom? Soundness of judgment in the choice of means and ends. And why is that important to say? Because when you get to these tapes and these books, and you start looking at, they say, there's something called the Wisdom Channel. And what we do is we hype this in our own minds. Wisdom, I'll never get there. No, because you're not reading the literal definition of it. You're allowing colonial propaganda to tell you what your reality is. What is wisdom? All it is making the right choices. Do you know how to make a choice? Do you know right from wrong? Do you know fake from real? Can you make a decision? That's what wisdom is all about. It has nothing to do with you being old. That went over your head. Wise. What does it mean to be wise? Here's the etymology. Is all the ways to spell wise. We're coming out of wise, wit, wise, the standard pronunciation, all of this stuff, right? Having or exercising sound judgment or discernment, capable of judging truly concerning what is right or fitting, and disposed to act accordingly. Having the ability to perceive and adopt the best means for accomplishing an end, characterized by good sense and prudence, opposite to foolish. Also see wise man. Here's wise man. A man who is wise. A man of good judgment, discernment, a discreet or prudent man. And look down here. Now this is I'm going to start to show you this, how it all starts to deteriorate. When the colonist shows up, all this wisdom and all this gets wiped out. Because it doesn't matter how wise you are if somebody got a gun to your head. It don't matter how brave you are if somebody shows up with your daughter in chains and they say, if you ever want to see her again, I need you to build this pyramid. Actually, I need you to build this cathedral. If you ever going to see your sons again, your daughter again, build this cathedral for me with your skill. And I'll let her go. This is what actually happened. The wise man then, and you see it in English culture, this is why we look at English writing, look at the English language. This wise man, a good man, a man of judgment, and so on, opposed to a fool, now down here. Ironically applied to a fool or a simpleton. Are you trying to be a wise guy? This is what colonial culture does. It takes the exalted of its enemies, brings it low down to the ground, teaches its population to call the kings and queens of this world the low, fools, step on them. You don't even know you're doing it. You don't even know you're doing it. Words like, okay, if I walk up to you right now and say, you are primitive, you acting primitive, most will take it as an offense. Call me no primitive, what you talking about? When in fact, primitive only means first. That's it. All this other stuff attached to primitive, racism, colonialism, imperialism. If you go to the actual definition, which is where they hide the truth. Because keep this in mind, the truth is indestructible. Let me say that one more time. The truth is indestructible. You cannot get rid of the truth. You can only hide it. Because you yourself gonna have to go back to it to maintain reality for real. You can't live the lie you telling everybody else. So where you getting your truth from, dictionary? And you gotta know what dictionary to look at. I start you with the Oxford English. All you need to know about Western civilization and colonial culture is right here in this book. Here's what they say out their mouth. And the reason we use words is because we see reality through words. Your brain sees millions bits of information all day, but you only get to see about 2,000 pieces of it. Imagine, on an estimate, your brain is taking in like 20 billion bits of information. And really, like 20 billion bits of information is going through your brain right now. But for you to be conscious, you only messing with like 2,000 bits of information. I'm here, it's the temperature, there's a light, there's a guy talking, like that's it. But your brain is picking up all types of stuff and shielding it from you so you can make this reality possible. Wise, what does it mean to be wise? Now look, the reason I point this out is because the wise man always starts off great and the one you want to be until you start getting explained in the culture that robbed the wise men. Here's the wise man. Here's just a picture, it's a random picture of an old teacher, Africa. You deep in Africa. I think it's West Africa as well. You deep in Africa. I want you to see this. When most people look at this picture, they say, this is some Africans. They say primitives. Don't call me no primitive. Primitive means first. First is the only one with authority. Don't call me the authority. I don't want to be the authority. This dude here is an astronomer. I just want you to know that. These kids are learning the stars. That's what they doing. You look at it and say, look at this hut. They living outside. Oh, who are these people? They don't live modern like us. They study in the stars. You ever heard of a people called the Dogon?
Yes, I.
Okay, so I ain't got to go there. They study in the stars. That's what they look like. These are the first philosophers. The first ones. The first ones, the first wise men and women, the ones that make the right choices for humanity to survive. This is what they looked like. This is the common look, and this is their common students. This is a blow-up picture of it, these dudes right here. I want you to get that in your head.
I love it.
This dude right here is probably the wisest dude in the hemisphere that he's living in. This dude will rock any Western philosopher because they're objective and on the outside. He is the truth. He is the nature itself. He is nature. He's communicating with reality. He don't know how to read. He don't count. This dude know what real shit is. There's no reason for like, look at the geese. This is an example. Geese, they fly in a V-shaped formation. What they know about V-shaped formation? What does a geese, what does one goose know? They say, yo, something in me is like, I need to start flying south. When the weather starts feeling like this, I need to start flying south. I'm gonna jump up in the air. I'm not gonna fly alone. Okay, I'm not gonna fly alone. I'm gonna find my brothers and sisters, and we all gonna come together, and we just gonna take to the air and form a V-shape, mathematical formation for aerodynamics. It is easier for geese to fly in a V shape together, takes less energy, and they get there quicker than one goose flying by himself. Did they need math for that? No. No. The people that invented math could not count.
Say that again.
I'll say it one more again. One more again. The people that invented math could not count. The people that invented writing could not write. The mind that makes writing can't write. Monday, you can't write. Monday, you live in your life without writing. Somehow on Tuesday, you develop writing. Wednesday, you can write. The mind that made all of that was the mind that couldn't do all that. The mind that made the computer didn't have one. We all run around with computers. You forget the mind that made the computer, the minds that made the computer, were not relying upon computer knowledge to make it. It didn't exist. So what were they relying on? The computer was the last time we used our minds. The computer's mental suicide. It's the last time we used our minds. After that, Mine got shut off. Because we forgot who we were before the invention. Before the tool, you was somebody. Before reading and writing, you was functioning. And functioning for millions of years. Without reading, without writing, without none of that. Then all of a sudden, reading and writing comes in. Now we're wondering, how did they build the pyramids? Look at these 100-ton structures. How did they lift them? Nothing we have today can even touch what they did in the ancient time. You hear this shit all the time. All on the TV. Ancient aliens. And that shit is so stupid. Ancient, it couldn't have been him. He couldn't have built shit. Somebody from outer space. So we went to wise men. I want to show you what the colonists do. Wise man, here's wise woman. And I'm going to show you these contrasts real quick. Wise man was a man of discernment, of good judgment. What is the wise woman? A woman skilled in magic, hidden arts, a female magician, soothsayer, etc. A witch, sorceress, especially a harmless or beneficent one. One who deals in charms against disease, misfortune, malignant witchcraft. She's the chick helping you out against these other witches. Okay. This is all colonial propaganda as well. If you're going to call the wise man a wise man and say he's good for the judgment, why doesn't the wise woman is also good for judgment? Now, we see here, look how they give you one line, wise woman, in parentheses, wise woman. For the general sense, a woman who is wise and see wise. So they clean it up right here. But here's the definition though. This is not part of the definition. Here's the definition of a wise woman. She's basically a good witch. Here's the original wise woman ancient picture right here. This would be called the Sophie, and these are the philosophers. Yes. These are the ones that love her. This is the one. This is Queen Mother. They call her Kandake. Known all over Africa and Asia in different forms. And these women are the greatest women, the greatest human beings on the planet were these women that were called Kandakes. It would take me too long to explain their history here, but every time I think about these women, I just get energized because what they did in real life is not what's being discussed with any. We don't make movies about them. We don't do you realize that as powerful as Rome was, and I'll give you just one example, Rome, okay? Rome, the powerful Rome. Rome ran through the Mediterranean, killed everybody. Rome was the dopest warriors. They had archers, they had spear throwers, they had elephants, they had everything. Rome come to your town, you just basically gave up. It's Rome. That's what it is. Rome went through northern Africa, beat all them people up and took their stuff. Came down to Egypt, beat all them people up and took their stuff. They got the Kush. They beating everybody, going down. They went down to Kush, 32 BC. Chick like this met them.
That's right.
Queen Amarinas and her son, Prince Akinadad, met the Roman army, wiped them out. You'll never hear about this one. Kush wiped Rome out. Do you understand when I say wiped them out? Meaning that Kush could have took Rome. But the Kandake said, nah, we just don't want to pay taxes. You pay us taxes, Rome. Kush is the only country Rome ever paid taxes to for 400 years. Oh, you'll never hear that. Do your research, though. You got something called the internet. When I was growing up, we ain't have this shit. I had to read this stuff. You can go right to your phone and check what I'm saying right now. Queen Amarina's, Prince of Trinidad, look their story up. They put the foot to roll. This woman, that's why you don't see her no more. Here's all her kandakes around her. Notice the kids. Always with mom. Kids always around the kandake, always around the queen mother. This is a totally different image of a leader. Remember, Kush was a queendom, not a kingdom.
Say that again.
So I say Nubia. Nubia is the Greek word for Kush. And Kush and Nubia is not even the name of the place. That's not, it ain't even the name. I'm saying Kush and Nubia. These are the names that are coming to us from Greek and Arabs and all types of other people. This is the Kandake. Now, so I want to show you now. This is just a party. Look how we chilling. Women, no shirts on, men chilling half naked. Nobody thinking about no sexual nothing. Just want to show you something about us. We can't walk around like this today. Matter of fact, not only is it arousing you, you can't even look at your ancestors without being sexually aroused. Look at this. Because this is what the colonists did. When the colonists saw our ancestors, they were sexually aroused. That's where the rape started. You adopting colonial ways when you looked at your ancestors, oh wow, her breast is out. Oh, this guy needs to put some clothes on. Why? Well, what happened? What happened to you? This is the regular African scene. Dude drinking, they having a good time. Okay, this is the regular African scene, okay? Regular deal, music blasting, chicks running around. This is what it is. This is a school. Show you another school. Mostly women here, they study in agriculture. These are agriculturalists. All of them. Notice the kids, they study in agriculture. These women, masters. I'm not even gonna get into America, the cotton, where the cotton come from, where the sweet potato come from, where the rice come from. Come on, man. These Kandakes, the knowledge that they have is this entire civilization. Everything they know is here, out here. You gotta know how to look for it. Now, what happened to them? I wanna show you this, and we're gonna start talking about names now.
Teacher, real quick, it's 9:30. Oh, you got about half hour left.
Thank you. This is called, wait a minute, let me start here. This picture, the series of pictures I'm about to show you of paintings is from a French newspaper. I chose a French newspaper because France is one of the colonists of Africa. And not only were they one of the colonists of Africa, they were among the colonists of West Africa, where African Americans are supposed to, majority of us are supposed to come from, at least according to this history. So I chose this picture because the Wolof tribe, the Wolof nation, is among the nations that African Americans are supposed to be from. And you'll notice the names, right? Now, every name, you are primitive. I don't want to be no primitive. You a barbarian. He said, look at this barbaric way. A barbarian is only someone who's not Greek. That's it. That's it. One more time. What is a barbarian? Somebody who's not Greek. I'm going to go over that with you if I can get to it. What is primitive? The first. What is rustic? Somebody living outside in the forest. What is a savage? Somebody living outside in the forest. This is all these words mean. That's it. I bring this up because I bring up the word nigger. Don't call me nigger. White people say, oh, that's you racist. Same shit being applied to that too. This in French is called the chief nigger. Before colonialism, the word nigger was never used derogatorily. Just to show you how they got your head. We're not looking at the literal definition of words. We are responding to our slave master's emotions. Again, we are not studying. We're not looking at the actual literal word. We responding to how a dude speaks to us. If a white racist walk up to you right now, Klansmen come up right now and say, yo, you blacks need to go back to Africa. You got a problem. Tell me to go back to Africa? Same, the Klan leaves, you still stand in the same spot. Marcus Garvey show up. He says, you blacks need to go back to Africa. You like, yo, Garvey, word, Garvey. You might need to think about. Wait, it's the same sentence. You blacks need to go back to Africa. But it's based on who's saying it. You're not responding to the sentence, you're responding to who's saying it. And what you feel about the person saying it. Now, what is the truth? The truth is you blacks need to go back. That is the truth.
Yes, it is.
Okay. But here we are. Here we are. I want to show you this piece here. This is the, hold on. Oh, because you know what? Actually, I'm not here. That's a translation of it. It's down here, but I'll bring it up here. This was a quote in the newspaper. This was the French quote that is in the newspaper regarding this guy right here. Here's the translation. It says, Black Wolof chief, which is Wolof chief, inside his home, drawing by E.D. Bernard from life. And they say this is from life. So, and this is why I chose this picture, because this artist is in Africa, in West Africa, an artist is in West Africa drawing the regular life of dudes in Africa. He's called Chief Negra. Chief Negra. This is nigger. This is the French spelling of nigger. That's how they spell negra. That's not negro, that's nigger. Okay? Chief nigger. Now, of course, that nigger is black. Black Wolof chief inside his home. Now look at dude's home. Several huts, dudes chilling on the side. He over here, trees up. They all in the back here. Everybody had at least 10 acres. Everybody had at least 10 acres to themselves. You had your own garden, you had your own animals, you had your own deal. So you had to have a little space on that. This is what the chief nigger is dealing with. Here's another one. These are sages. These are the most enlightened people on the planet that's being invaded by military forces and then degraded in that force's society. Here he is here, sitting. All of these dudes are students. He's actually laying out, because check this out. In Africa, God was never in the sky. In ancient Africa, this was God. Let me say that again. Africa, God was never a spirit, invisible in the sky. God was always your ancestors. Your mother, your father, your grandfather. That was God. That was the concept of God. Your family looking out for you on the other side. We now scared of words like mediumship, talking to the dead, all that. Oh, that's witchcraft now. And what is witch? What is witchcraft? We don't even read it. Wicca is one of the greatest sciences, actually, the Wiccan religion. Take some time and read up on it. Don't just say witches. Wait, you sound ignorant. That's like other people. I'm not no primitive. Don't call me a barbarian. And every name they calling you is what your ancestors were. But because you don't like who's saying it, you'll deny your ancestors. Yeah. This is the sage. Here's another vision of the sage. Blow this up. Sage, they're not fighting him at all. They showing him respect. This is a ceremony. The warriors usually come around. They protect the sage. Look at his students. These are not warriors. These are warriors. These are students. These are philosophers. These are the first philosophers. This is at least 5 to 6. Well, no, this particular picture is kind of modern, like, 18. I think it's 1800s, 19th century. These pictures from the 1800s. But this look is hundreds of years old. This ceremony, thousands of years old. This is what happens to these dudes. Each one of them, astronomer, agriculturalist, teacher, artist, writer, inventor of writing. I mean, what do you think happened to the inventors of writing? What do you think happened to the first person who knew how to cook?
Scared of
Harvard's fire, this kind of thing. No, they grew and had respect in their community for bringing fire to the community. Then some outside force comes in and does this. And I want to show you something too. Look at him. This is their brother.
Yeah.
He got the gun on him, the axe. He keeping them in line for a foreign interest. Sellout, house nigga. Right here. We got a lot of them. And let me say this. We're looking at black folk. You could put any culture on this.
That's right.
Every human culture experienced slavery on this planet. Everybody. Every English, French, German, Italian, you name it, all of the Mediterranean, Asian culture, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Thailand, everybody. Whole planet was like this. At one point in their life, Russia, Eastern Europeans. Read up on the Vikings, who they were enslaved. Everybody went through this. This is what happened to the first philosophers. Remember, philosophers are calm under pressure. You see them jumping around? Of course, they don't like their situation. But how do you enslave millions of people if they're not calm under pressure? We love to hear about the revolts. Yo, and they rose up on the slave ship and they stabbed them. Yeah, we want that because we all colonists. But we never get to hear about the ones, the Dr. Kings, who were calm under pressure, were not terrified. We don't hear about the Africans that once they were brought over and was purchased as a servant, won the freedom, won the respect of that family who emancipated them.
Yes.
We hear about that breeze. We breathe that breezes. That's like, yeah, and some slaves, they got emancipated, some white folk emancipated, just. We get to hear about that all the time. We don't get to hear about that all the time. We don't get to hear about the African that was purchased, like one of these dudes, got there and said, listen, sat the whole family down and said, listen, and look at this. Imagine an African, you just got with this dude. You went down to Home Depot, picked up a dude to come and work in your house. He said, I will work for whatever. Okay, he comes in. This is what slavery was. All that beating and raping and robbing, it did happen. But not as much as Home Depot. Y'all don't know about Home Depot? You know about the Mexicans out there?
Yeah.
Keep it real, man. That's slavery.
That's exactly what that is.
But look at the slave. He out there. Yo, you got 20, you got 50 an hour, I'm working. In fact, I'm gonna find dignity in this work. Because I'm gonna do my best work, you gonna give me this money and I'm gonna slide. Now when it becomes slavery, is when I do my best work, I ask for my money, you tell me nigga. What? I just did the work. Gun come out. You better get the fuck out of here. That's slavery. That's how shit went down. These dudes, yeah, they got this shit around their neck, but you don't realize how you put this shit on your neck today. It's called credit. So you don't realize it. These things done changed. And this is why these pictures are important. Look, here's the difference. Here's what happened. I want to show you this again. Okay? Dudes walk up. Look at these dudes. Who are that? Black cup, black cup, black cup, black cup. Who are these dudes? These are your brothers.
Overseer.
This is your sister. Overseer. Officer. Right. Right. Now take a look, kids. Okay? Let me also remind you, these are teenagers. See, in Hollywood, they show you grown men and women being accosted and thrown in. That never happened. Damn, I know this is going to be a hard one. This is going to be a hard one. That shit never happened. According to the actual records, the oldest so-called slave was 18. The oldest. The oldest. You was dead by 21. They were grabbing babies, children, teenagers, and working them to death. And even those teenagers, imagine being born into this bullshit. You born into it. And even born into it, you get to be a teenager and say, this shit is whack. It ain't right, and I'm getting out of here. You can't read, you can't write, you ain't got no map, but you know the shit you dealing with right here ain't right. They telling you you can't read, you can't write. They reading some book called the Bible and you can't look at it either. You know that shit ain't right. That's your ancestors talking. You don't need no college for that. You don't need science for that. You don't need math for that. You don't have to read for that. You don't have to write for that. It's wrong. Let's get back to philosophy. It's wrong. Now you can philosophize around it. Well, Thomas Jefferson was conflicted, when he wrote this document because he said all men are created equal, but then he had his own 600 slaves. He was conflicted. America has some dark times, and this is all bullshit. This is all the excuses of colonists making us go along with colonialism. We're contributing to the world's greatest crime. That's why I'm teaching this. We're not criminals like them. These are people, these are the cause of this. These are the portraits of just 4 dudes from the Dutch East India Company. Do some research on them. They got the party started in India, Australia, parts of America, especially the Caribbean, Dutch East India Company. These dudes, straight racists, straight terrorists. There's no other way to explain that. This is this. They somehow got these dudes to work for them against their brothers. You see that shit going on today? In every industry, everywhere you look, you can find this dude right here working for him. And it's all in history, which means if you don't know history and you ain't reading history, that's how you become them. They ignorant. Most people who know the history know not to mess with them. Most people who got the ancestors in them don't mess with them. But those who ain't got no ancestors and don't do no knowledge, this is what gives them power. somebody else. And we're going through the same thing today. It's just that a lot of us are fighting back more. Here's a group of doctors. These are doctors, but they too own slaves. These are the investors in the slave trade. What happened to the original philosophers? These dudes invaded them. These dudes invaded them and took their knowledge for themselves. This is what, and why am I pointing out what they look like? Because this is what they look like. Now, notice the hair. Notice the hair. Notice all of this. Notice the look, okay? Because I want you to look at the look, okay? This look is this look. This is a picture of a philosopher. I'm going to show you some famous standard pictures of what we think of philosophers. This is a philosopher, old white man with a beard, in front of a book, but you can see the symbolism. This is what he's dealing with: time, the Christian faith, skull and bones, all that. This is what he's dealing with, right? Now look, this is supposed to be the torch of knowledge and so on. What these dudes are doing is killing the real God and putting themselves in the real God's place. You worshiping them, not the real God. When it comes to philosophy, these dudes are making themselves the gods in your life. They're not the gods in nobody else's life. They're only the gods in those who they enslave's life. So the minute you don't accept their authority of divinity, you ain't a slave no more. The more you think that's what God looks like, or that's what philosophers look like, they got your mind. However, presently when one thinks of philosophy and philosophers, images of old bearded white men usually come to mind. This is common image of a philosopher. Even deeper, when thinking about famous philosophers, names like Socrates, and look at this, again, another gray hair. You know, like I said at the beginning, somebody who looked like me, you would not even think, no, he's not no philosopher. He ain't got nothing to do with it, nothing. Same thing with my sons and daughters and people, all of us here that don't look like this. No, you can't be thinking about no philosophy. And the entire species of women don't think at all, according to this philosophy. Women, there are no women philosophers. The women don't think, according to them. So names like Socrates, let's get Socrates up, Plato, Aristotle, these are thieves, these dudes. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. These may come to mind when we're talking about philosophy. These dudes come to mind. You know how much destruction they did to the world? Aristotle alone, he taught the Great, Alexander the Great, right? This dude. What did Alexander, whatever he taught Alexander, this dude ran all over the Mediterranean, raping, killing, destroying, stealing. What kind of philosophy is that? What did you teach him? What did you show him, Aristotle? Okay. Some might even call the name of Pythagoras. It's a picture of Pythagoras. But none of these figures are the true first philosophers, nor did they originate the fundamentals of the philosophies that they are famous for. This whole picture, let's break it down. The clothes he's wearing is African. The sandals he's wearing is African. This right here is a plate on agriculture, African. Music, this lyre was created in Africa. The scroll, the papyrus, this is Egyptian. The pyramid, this is at least 3,000 years older than Greece. This, okay, at least 3,000 years older than Greece itself, okay? All this, now, the globe, okay? Greece starts 1000 BC. Muslims were already messing with this at least 2,000 years. 2,000. They weren't called Muslims yet. These dudes still messing with it. They was in Greece too, but I can't even get there. Notice this, here's a Freemason sign, right here, because all that come from Africa too.
Yeah.
All that Freemason stuff come from Africa. Here's the thing, here's Pythagoras, and here's supposed to be the Pythagorean theorem. This is supposed to make this. In fact, this makes houses, it predicts. Africans were big on standing in one place and knowing what was going on in some other place. Africans were big on that, had all kinds of sciences to how to basically teleport. Like how did you know what's going on miles away from standing in one spot? This is how the weather got done. Oh man, they did it all. But that's what the basis of this is about, prediction and measurement. Here's Pythagoras. This is from the American Heritage Dictionary that we just saw. 6th century Greek philosopher, founded a school in southern Italy that sought to discover the mathematical principles of reality through the study of musical harmony and geometry. So just take a look. He's trying to figure out reality through this tool and this tool. Well, this is basically the same thing, mathematical principles of reality through the study of musical harmony and geometry, which is basically math. Musical harmony, geometry. The Pythagorean theory is ascribed to him. You can do that, Pythagorean theorem. This is the theorem over here. They say the right angle. I don't have the right, well, wait a minute, maybe I do. Yes, I do. These two are supposed to equal this. This is the hypotenuse, these two, this square is supposed to equal this. It's a prediction. If you don't know what this is, you're supposed to be able to add this up. A plus B. It's supposed to be this right here. It goes on, but this is how you build. Oh, I didn't even mention the pillars. Oh, not the pillars, the columns. These columns right here. That's Hatshepsut. Queen Hatshepsut. First time we start to see columns like this. This is the temples at Karnak, Egypt. Pillars. Greeks didn't come up with no columns at all. This is all a copy, all of it. But when you know your culture, you can look at Greek culture and get your culture out of it. Because the one thing the Greeks did do correctly is they preserved African culture. When you look at Greek culture, you're looking at Africa. Try to get that through your head. Everyone you look at in Greek culture, you're looking at African knowledge, African clothes, African architecture, African agriculture, writing, the stuff you write on, the pen, the ink, all of it, African, all of it. Look at this. This, pyramids, these are Kushite pyramids. These are the pyramids that's on your dollar. The pyramid on your dollar is not an Egyptian pyramid. Egypt don't have gold. Egypt used to rob Kush for gold. Kush had all the gold, run by queens that was protecting the gold. These are Kushite pyramids. The dollar used to be backed by gold. That's why they put a Kushite pyramid on the dollar bill, because that's where they stole the gold from. After Egypt stole it from Kush, America, Britain, Germany stole it from them. And the dollar used to be backed up with all this stolen gold. Then they got rid of that, and now the dollar's backed up by trust, and you know the story. But these are Kushite pyramids, just these alone, 5,000 years before this. But there ain't no Greeks around when this was going up. No Greeks nowhere, okay, before this. How Pythagoras is the, how? This is the Pythagorean theorem right here. Matter of fact, this is beyond that. The Pythagorean theorem is probably down here. Probably right down here somewhere. Oh yeah, we're gonna do the base like this. These are the dudes that's building this. This is from Mexico. These dudes is called the Olmecs. What they call the mother culture of Mesoamerica. The Olmec, black dudes. Is a dude named Ivan von Sertima, Dr. Ivan von Sertima. Call his name with respect.
Absolutely.
He had a video, a DVD back in the days where he went behind this and pointed out that the braids behind all of these figures are Ethiopian braids in the back. So there's no, they used to call these people babies, jaguars, monkeys, anything but a black genius
Yep.
already in South America, building pyramids. They brought the calendar, they brought writing, they brought these dudes right here. They said, oh no, that couldn't have been black folk. Now, I'm sorry, couldn't have been. We just gonna write them out of history. And we call ourselves truth seekers. Because again, it ain't about black, it's about character. What kind of character would just erase a group of people out of history because you want to step in a place? Here's Mexico again. And let me also hip you to this. I'm doing the regular knowledge. Africans made it to South America 45,000 years ago, started South American culture, and moved on. That's already in the history books. We don't even know if that's true. Why couldn't the Mexicans build the pyramids first and then taught Africans how to build the Giza pyramids? Why couldn't that be the case? See, I'm trying to break your mind off colonialism. Because colonialism will tell you, yeah, black man, you built the pyramids, ha. Yeah, you did it, ha, ha, ha. You heeing and high with the devil. You going, yeah, I built the pyramid. My grandfather is right here. You might have built something else that they hiding from you, pointing your head here. Oh yeah, you built a pyramid when you probably built the forest itself. That's more close to the truth. That the earth was bare and without form, and God came and made the earth what it is. We think that God is something in the sky. No, it was your hands.
Right here.
This is 4, 5, 6, 7,000 years before Greece even had a G. This is before G. The Phoenicians ain't even around, because that's where G comes from. You know, we are studying phonetics, or phonics. Ancient. Look at these stairs. And look at this. These are stairs, boys and girls. You use stairs all the time. This is your ancestors' work. This is how numb we are. We go up and down the stairs saying, where the fuck is my culture? Shit, where's my culture? You going up and down the stairs. This is your culture. The concept of a road is your culture. Your culture's not in a book your ancestors couldn't read. We looking in books for the culture. No, look on the street, look at the road. The road is your history. The tree outside is your history. The sun, the moon, and the stars is your legacy. Back to this fool. So he here holding an object thousands of years older than him. That's the point to this. And we call it the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagoras is credited with inventing the word philosopher, stating, no man but only God is wise. Call me rather a philosopher, a lover of wisdom. That's a famous quote. Where the word philosopher comes from, those come from him. This statement, however, is loaded with clues as to who the actual first philosophers were, really were. As a word, the first philosophers, or philosophers, are the Greek admirers of the gods, who were a real, wise, and highly creative people. And let me say this. All of these so-called gods, these are not all black people either. Just because you black, you can't claim this. Just because you indigenous, you can't claim this. Out of the indigenous community comes the God. Everybody else still acting stupid. Everybody else could be convinced to kill their brother. Everybody in the same community. You know, Kush was robbing and stealing. In fact, when you really go back to the relationship between Egypt and Kush, it's just like African Americans in America today. It's identical. That's why you got to study Kush. And the relation between Kush and Egypt is just like America and African Americans today. Meaning, Egypt was robbing Kush. Okay, Egypt is an enemy of Kush. Yet, Egypt was using Cushite soldiers and archers to fight against their own people. How do you convince a dude to do that? He got to be empty inside. How do you convince somebody to go against Marcus Garvey? What worthless, soulless person would see Garvey's mission and thwart it?
Yeah.
Black dude, too, by the way. Black dude. Who killed Malcolm? Black folk. When Dr. King was killed, his ratings amongst black people was 0. They did not, nobody was messing with King when he was assassinated, 68. He was probably the most hated black man by black people. They was dissing him.
Wow.
This is the problem. And this is where philosophy becomes real, because you got to ask your own people some real questions before you ask somebody else something.
Yeah.
Your own people got problems. That's why philosophers rise in every group. Because your people are the ones that got the problem. So what's the problem with our people? And when I say our people, I'm talking about hip hop. Anybody involved with that, with hip hop, you got something to do with this. You got something to do with changing the world around you. You probably a leader of people or about to become one. That's what this talk is about. This is only for leaders, this talk. I'm sorry, if you're a follower or somebody who can't think and stuff, well, it's not for you. Maybe yesterday was. But today, we are thinking today on this level, and what we're trying to say is that what you think is real ain't real, and what you think is fake is not fake. Take a look. This is Black Greeks. This is Apollo, by the way, the god Apollo.
Wow.
Is it? When you go to Greece, all the gods are black.
Yes, they are.
Only in America we got a problem with that. When you go to these other countries, they got no problem. Don't go to Spain. The Moors did a number on Spain. No, Spain has high respect for Africa. All the southern European countries have high respect for Africa. And likewise, Africans big respect for the southern Italy, southern Greece, Spain. This is like being in Africa. And vice versa. All of that. The Mediterranean, Libya, all of that at the top right there. These people have been getting together for thousands of years. Only recently, like 1600s, did now this dude turn white, somebody else turn Asian, this one's turn, and the only reason we gotta approach it like this is because this is the crime. I wouldn't even be discussing race at all if it was not the crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the crime. To deny young black kids their heritage.
Yeah.
That's a crime. To deny any kids their heritage, really. But here it is. Here's Queen T. This is one of the most powerful women in Africa, in Egyptian African history. She was married to Amenhotep III. These are the parents of Akhenaten. These, when Amenhotep III and Queen T was on the throne in Egypt, first of all, these are the gods. That's why I'm pointing this out. Before the Christian concept of God, before these colonists made themselves into the image of God and all of that, this is what God looked like. And I want you to get this through your head, because a lot of us are still, we still have a dreamy God in our minds. The original African, where the concept of God comes from. Keep that in mind. The idea of God is African.
Yeah.
The idea of it. The human mind is African. Like, let's try to put some respect on that, whoever you are. Try to keep it real with what is real. This was the face of God. We breeze over this in Egyptology. They say, yeah, you know, they worship the Pharaoh as God. But, you know, we here in the West. No, wait, slow that down. You mean those 5 million, 6, 10 million people living in Egypt at the time fell on their knees to her? Yep.
Yes.
When they were praying to their Pharaoh and his queen. Do you understand, like, the difference in psychology? We call it voting today. Let me bring it over here so you guys understand. There's a candidate. They're all competing. You make up your mind. Your prayer in that is your vote. Your vote is your prayer. I hope with this vote that this dude does what he says he's going to do. I pray to my Pharaoh. I leave a goat by the palace. I bring a rag, something I made for the Pharaoh, hoping that the Pharaoh hears my cry and alleviates my pain. There was no God in the sky. I went to a person who is my God. And why is this person your God? Because this person's family made the whole forest. See, they never tell you why the Pharaoh's the Pharaoh. How did the Pharaoh become Pharaoh? How does anybody become anything in Africa? You got to be the first. You got to be the first. Africa respects the first. We don't do it no more. We just had a No Kings Day. And although I understand what that is, America hates kings. Africa is the creator of kings.
Yeah.
We were called Negus. Negus Nagas, king of kings.
Yes.
I out of Ethiopia.
Aye.
Okay? First king. Think about this. Go back to the first. The first king. Okay? I don't even know how to else. I wish I had another way to say it. The first concept of royalty coming out of Ethiopia. King of kings. Lord of lords. Negus Nagas.
Yes.
The king maker. The one who is king of kings.
Yes.
This is who's called nigger today. And you don't want to be called nigger. Why? Because it's a derogatory racial epithet. It's a derogatory racial epithet. And I don't want to be called that. But guess what? That very name nigger was the name of your king royalty. I really should speed this up and get to that. How much I got?
5 minutes.
Damn. Let's rush this in. Let's rush this right on in. We just getting started. I told you how it's going to go. All right, so what I'm saying here, and I will just rush this along. What I'm saying here is that this is the face of God. This was the original. Now you could say today, yeah, look, that ain't my God, and you know, my God is somebody else. Okay, fine. But the fact, the truth, the evidence is that this was God. Nobody else. Her and her husband, the Pharaoh of Egypt, and the queen, which was also the Pharaoh, was God. They were called Sophie and Sophies by the Greeks. Notice Sophie and Sophies by the Greeks, not philo-Sophies. These are the ones that they are loving. This is the one that they have the trust of. The philo-Sopha is the student of the Sophie. This is Sophie. Look at these guys. This is a barbarian, non-Greek. This is a primitive, the first. This is what we call God. They call it a slave. They were called Sophie and Sophies by the Greeks, and it was these dark-skinned beings that were the sages and the wise people of their time recognized as holy and as divine. So when Pythagoras says no man but only God is wise, many people today, philosophers included, mistake Pythagoras' reference to God to the Christian God of the Holy Bible. But the Bible didn't exist in Pythagoras' time, nor did the Christian concept of God exist. That was God.
Wow.
This is Osiris. I want you to notice the horns, not horns, but, well, that's what they represent, but these figures. Because everything about this dude is about to get turned into the devil. Everything about Osiris is about to become the devil. He is Lord of the Underground. Shout out to my dudes. But he is the underground Osiris. When you die and you meet Osiris, and he's the Lord of the underworld, and this is what they got you there. And then this, show you why that's there. First of all, that's there because their symbol of divinity was the bull, the ram, the sheep, the goat, the lamb. That was their symbol for divinity. That ram is getting ready to get turned to the devil too. Here's Queen T that I showed you, and here's Amenhotep III. These are the gods. In Pythagoras' time, the gods were the black pharaohs and black priest scribes known throughout Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Americas. These are the first philosophers. They're not even philosophers. They are the saint. These are gods, straight up. And you got to think to yourself, and I'm not going to have time to go through it right now. I may have to come back. We have to do a part 2. Because the idea of God being this thing in the sky is what's crushing us.
Yeah.
If you take the responsibility of divinity for yourself, society then becomes civilized. Without divinity, there is no civilization. There's no room for it. Without divinity, without a sense of mind, you have no reason to be civil. It's animal now. I grab if I can. If I can beat you, I will. If I'm faster than you, I'll use that to my advantage. That's how we live in every day. But I tell you, there's another way. There's another way. And the only evidence I have of that way right now is myself. That's the evidence I have right now. You may not get to see this often, so take a quick look. But you're looking at a person who's at peace.
Yeah, that's right.
You may not get to see this often.
Yeah.
So take a look. You're looking at a person who is in peace and has prosperity in his life. As you can see, today I'm healthy. Today I'm healthy. I'm cognizant. I can read, I can write. You don't get to see that often. Everybody you get to see today is failing. Everybody you get to see today is sick, broke, sad, didn't do it, didn't make it. Prayer didn't work, nobody answered. Nah, that ain't the life we teach in here.
Nope.
I'm 40 years in on this, hip hop. How can you do something for 40 years and it be wrong? Like, I mean, unsuccessful for you, you struggling, you can't see it. No. No, for 40 years, hip hop put me on top. I mean, like in society, you know, okay, I live better than doctors. I don't say that braggingly, I'm just telling you the truth. I live better than lawyers.
As you should.
Well, I don't know, I'm not saying, I'm trying to be humble here.
No, you're humble.
Thank you. I live better than a lot of people. I'm not rich and all that. I live by principles.
Yes.
When you rich in principles, you could have $1 and you live it, you good. I'm so happy to be free from money.
Yeah.
Free from it. And it's such a funny thing. Once you free from it, it chases. Okay. Let me get back over here. I know I'm over my 5 minutes. I'm done right now. I'm gonna breeze through. I'm gonna show you some things. I'm gonna show you some things so I can put a conclusion on this. All of this is in your flash drive. In fact, it's even more laid out because the evidence is there. In that 151 page books, I lay all of this out in the tone that I'm speaking in now, as a matter of fact, because certain people who write books, they don't like my writing tone. I write street, and I write the way I talk.
As you should.
And you're not supposed to write the way you talk.
It's
You're supposed
lovely.
to go according to some kind of style. But anyway, real quick, this is the seated scribe. Okay, now we're looking at an Egyptian seated scribe. This is God. Now, every group, ethnicity, race, whatever you want to call it on humanity, got one of these people. Every single group has an indigenous ancestor who is calling for you. You forgot about it.
Yeah.
You're looking in other places, trying to find this thing. And it's your ancestor that you should be looking for, becoming, and continuing. This level of spirituality is so fulfilling. You know, I wake up every day feeling good. Why? Because I know Kwame Ture. This guy used to be named Stokely Carmichael. He came up with this thing called Black Power in the 60s. He's the head of SNCC, joined the Black Panthers. He told Dr. King to stop saying Negro and say black. This was a remarkable man. His name is Stokely Carmichael. Changed his name to Kwame Ture. This is my direct teacher. We ran together in 1992. He passed on now, and so on. We ran together in 92. Taught me everything about civil rights. He was the front line. It's like he is the movement itself. He was telling me everything that I needed to know, and so on. And when he passed, I was there, like the elders, like they always do. When the elders about to pass, the youngin goes up, the student goes and gets that blessing on him as the elder is passing on his deathbed. Well, I was there, and he gave me the blessing right there. We used to laugh and joke, and now he's going out right there. Gave me the blessing. I wake up every morning knowing I'm carrying real legacy. It's only for me to know. It's not really for me to even say here, but I'm giving you a further example because I'm going to cut this, but I'm speeding up the point, is that when you really have a legacy to uphold, it changes your character. There's certain places you don't go, not because you don't want to be there, but because it goes against your character. There's certain things you can't do. It's not that you don't want to do them, you just can't, because it goes against what you're going to do tomorrow, what's more important to you, like that. This is the reason why you stand in character, you stand on principles, because it does change your life. It makes you walk a certain way. Yeah. Another example, so in the 90s, everybody was freaking, everybody was licking, sucking, doing all types of freak shit in the 90s. Y'all quiet now, right? Nobody remembers. You don't remember the shit that was going on in the 90s. You better slow down. Everybody quiet. Me too. But here's the point. I'll tell you the story right here. So everybody doing everything. I'm a rapper, just started. I'm on tour. We do the tours. We go to the hotels. Everybody in the hotel, girls, guys, dudes, everybody want to go up to the hotel room. So everybody got their little plan. Go up to this little freak spot over here. My room's over here. After the party, it's the after party. Right. After the party, we running over here. Me. After the show, I'm trying to finish this book called The Gospel of Hip Hop. Trying to finish it. So right after I finish the tour, I'm like, dude's like, yo, Chris, you want to come hang, dude? What's up? I'm like, damn, word. I can't. I got to finish this book. I know I'm going to finish this book. If I can just get this book finished, then after that, I'm going to deal with y'all. I can deal. I don't want you to think I'm no sucker, like this. I'm chill, but I got this book I got to do. I got something to do. This was 15 years of my life. I could not understand. I was not invited here. I was invited there, then couldn't go. Someplace you could go, I can't afford it. I can't, and everything leading me back to just write your rhymes, G. Write your book, G. finish your, do your artwork. Always lead me back there. Always think. So for years, I'm like, well, you know what? I'm just blacklisted. I guess, you know, the BET Awards, I ain't part of that shit. They ain't calling me Grammys. None. I don't want to, you know, that's what it is. So, and it's like the first five years of your career when you don't understand shit. So he's like, you know, I'm like, why are they acting like this? Why they treat my record like that? Why is this like this? Why is that? Okay, 15 years later, now dudes start going to jail. Now you start seeing why. You didn't see character in 90s. Not that I did not want to go to the freak spot. I will confess, but I had something to do.
Right?
And I felt that this was more important than that. Let me get this done. And I'm trying to get this book written. Now, of course, you know those that write books. Every year you're going to finish the book. Every year the book don't get done. You add more, you add more, you add more. 15, 10 years later, now we in this era of time, or not even this era, you know, just before COVID, the Me Too movement comes out. Me Too. Now dudes start getting pointed out. Yo, he touched me. He did this. She did that. He did this. And I'm looking at this shit like, oh shit, I was there that night. I was there when Mike typed. I was there when I was there. But I had to run and go write my gospel.
Yeah.
That's right.
I didn't know at the time what it was. What it was. I thought I was just, damn, let me finish this. I'll get back with y'all. Really? I was being protected.
By your ass.
Yes, you
No,
were.
they're
Really?
fine.
Because again, let me tell you, let me confess another one. Luke Skywalker is my man. Y'all don't know nothing about the Two Live Crew.
Yes, I know.
Don't start.
I know.
Don't stop. But you be surprised how conscious rappers are always around these dudes.
Yep.
Why is Fat Joe my best friend? Why? We're like night and day.
He
Okay.
talked about it.
This is Joe, okay? Out of all people, this Puerto Rican over here, this guy, okay? But this is what Punisher, rest in peace. I know you're hearing me right now. Pun, Chris. When Pun was alive, right? Joe, I'll tell you this real quick. Is that like, okay. See, I don't want to give too much away. Okay. Joe and Punisher, I'll say Joe and Punisher, if you ever want to know, these are the realest dudes in hip hop. I didn't run with everybody. I don't know what everybody's claim to fame is. But when it comes to Joe and Pun in particular, in the Bronx, okay, I'm gonna shout my man Mad Lion in Brooklyn.
Yep.
These dudes are for real, okay? And that's about as far as I'm gonna go. So real. Now, in that faux real situation, let me throw Freddie Fox in there. These are faux real people. I am in the car with these dudes. My shit is stop the violence. You must learn. Black man is God. You need to figure this shit out. They running around, guns out, doing all types of wild shit. I'm the one saying, yo, why don't you practice your rhymes? Why don't you get off the street? Don't you realize this ain't gonna last for you? Don't you realize? So after a while, now look at how it works out. The one who steps to dudes and say, look, there's another way. This becomes your crew now.
He said that.
Right. This becomes your crew now. Okay? So even though I'm yelling stop the violence, and I'm going to the dudes that's doing the violence, I'm saying, yo, y'all gotta stop the violence. They be like, word, Chris, you right. Can I get in the club with you? Sure. Hang out with me so you can get the fuck off the street. Let's go. But now I'm rolling with these dudes. And now it looks like, wait a minute, Chris, you stopped the violence, but you with these dudes. Yes. And this is what a lot of philosophers are going to have to realize.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris.
You're never going to save the hoes unless you walk in the whole house.
That part. That part.
We want to stay in universities
Yes.
and quote Socrates, while the real issues of society right outside the door.
Yeah,
And
right.
you got answers too. You got answers. You just afraid of, if I speak the truth, I'm gonna lose this job. If I speak the truth, I'm gonna get canceled. If I speak the truth, somebody gonna not like me. If I speak the truth, what's more important to you? Like
Being real.
truth. Well, see, here's the thing. I'm a Leo, okay? I'm a Leo on the cusp of Virgo. So I always have to calm my attitude down, okay? That I will put that on it because some people are not as my own children and my wife, they're not like me in that sense. You know, like I'm out. Okay, like not much offends me. I got a thick skin. You can't say much to me. I'm gonna start crying and shit. No, I'm more of an attacker. I'm more of a say something to me. I'm gonna say something to you. That kind of shit. But I say that to say that more philosophers should get more of a spine. We need philosophers. We need truth speakers.
Yes.
We need real ministers. You know there's real ministers out here with the Holy Spirit on. I'm talking about Christian ministers. Real Christian ministers out here with Jesus on them. You really
Yes.
but they're not out. They're not a televised. They're not an evangelist televised on TBN somewhere. They're not doing that. They got a small congregation and they feeding that 5-6 man woman crew right there, hitting them right there. If you ever see these people, support them. Support them. That's what you do. When you see somebody speaking truth, defend them. When you see somebody standing up for what you know is right, and you know they the only one doing it, you ain't got to step up and be like, yeah, I'm with you. No, quietly. Do whatever you can to push
Yep.
them forward.
Yeah.
Whatever you can. Do.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is the revolution.
Yes.
This is it. The revolution will not be
Televised.
No, Gil Scott was right. People try to twist that. No, it's going to be televised. It was televised. No, it won't.
No,
The
it won't,
real
yeah.
revolution will not be televised. It's going to be on the street. It's going to be word of mouth. And only revolutionaries are going to benefit from revolution. This is my last piece. When we said stop the violence in 1989, people think we were telling everybody else to stop the violence. We was, but first we were telling ourselves.
Yes.
Stop the violence. If you look at the record, self-destruction, most of the people on the record were starting the violence. That's why we chose that. Don't get the people who are already preaching peace to preach more peace. Get the dudes that are supposed to be on that life. Get them to do it. We're all in the same gang. That movement that came out here in LA, real gang members taking their rag, taking the flag off, and joining them. Big up to Stan Tukey Williams too.
Yes.
But dudes, I mean, there was a real thing going on here in LA with the gangs and so on. And so you see that happening, encourage it. Encourage it. It comes back around all the time. Just encourage it. Bringing it to a close now. This is Sophie. Let me just run you through. Stolen Legacy. This is The Gods Are Immortal. This is the first self-aware beings. By the way, let me just go back. This is Lucy. I don't know if y'all know about 3.6 million years ago.
No,
Lucy,
no, no,
so
no.
on. The oldest known human known so far. Found in Ethiopia, 1974. I got this picture from Barcelona in Spain, actually, because I compare it with what America says she looks like. No, this is not the picture. This is no, I'm gonna get back to that. That's crazy. No. This is just, this is a black person in Greece. This is a black Greek man. Just real quick, we don't get to see that. You see him in other countries, actually. This is the closest picture I could find to ancient humans. The ones that they're showing you that are apes and monkeys is really this. And this is something you're gonna have to wrap your head around. Paleoanthropology is one of the most racist subjects in science. No. And you gotta peel through a lot of that to get to your ancestors. This is the closest as to what your ancestors as a male figure looked like. This is Neanderthal. This is Homo erectus. This is Homo sapien.
Yep.
The monkey shit, get that off your mind.
Yep.
Same dude, New Shorter Oxford. Why am I bringing Shorter Oxford? Because the other Oxford I showed you has most of the words of the English language, but not all of them. English keeps adding words to itself. So that book came out in the 1800s. This book here is like the 60s, 70s, early 70s, late 60s. They put new words in this book that the other Oxford English Dictionary didn't have. Words like jazz, Kush, African is not in the Oxford English Dictionary. Nigger is, but not African. Sapien. We say Homo sapien. What do they mean? This is the code. This is what I mean. The lies gotta go. The truth gotta go somewhere to tell you a lie. So here's the truth. What does it mean to be sapient? Homo sapien. Having knowledge of, aware of, anthropology, of, pertaining to characteristics of modern man. Homo sapiens. Okay? What is a Homo sapien? Boom! Now look at this. To be sapient, okay? To be Homo sapien is the definition. Sapient means wise. Homo means man. A wise man, a sage. These prehistoric humans that we call the Neanderthals, we got them grunting and growling, they got a stick in their hand. That shit is fucking your head up. This is what they looked like. Variations of these kinds of people. This is a wise man. This is a sage. This is a Homo sapien. Here's just a picture. We're going into the Latin, Oxford Latin Dictionary, sapiens. Wise man, as implying a virtuous man, a teacher of wisdom, sage, philosopher. So the first Homo sapiens are philosophers. The reason they're called Homo sapiens is because whatever these anthropologists are looking at, these archaeologists are looking at, it's telling them that these dudes was wise, intelligent, knew what they were doing. So why are you showing us this monkey? Why are you showing us this animal man who just all he know how to do is walk with a stick and kill animals? He's a hunter-gatherer. That's not what's the truth. The truth is he's a wise man, virtuous, wisdom. He's a sage. But no, when we talk about Homo sapiens, you got to think about that animal beast man with a stick in his hand. That's a lie. It's taking away your divinity. Here's a Sophie holding the kid, man, with his son. That's the original Sophie. What is a Sophie? Wisdom, knowledge. What's a Sophie? A wise or learned man. A what? A sage. This is what the original prehistoric humans were. This dude's looking up in the stars. I'll just go through. Boom. This is the Kandake. That's what they want you to think your ancestors look like. This is in the museums today, right now. You can go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. You can go to a Natural History Museum. You can go to any of these museums. This is what your ancestors look like. This never existed too, by the way. Never existed.
Wow.
This is what your ancestors look like. This beautiful sister right here, I want you to look at her ears and focus on her head. Africans that don't read or write record their history in style. Africans that don't read or write record their history in style. Colonists have no style. That's why they don't know our history. Look at it today. Look at the dudes who work for the government and the colonists and all that type of stuff. Look at their real life. Look at their personality. With all due respect to law enforcement, and I say that with all due respect, there's some cool dudes out there, but the job is corny. With all due respect, the job is corny. It got no style to it.
Right.
In fact, the training takes style off of you because you're supposed to be representing government. And what is representing government? No style.
Stay.
Stale, stiff, cold. No style about you. And that's what we bring into academia.
No
Now,
finesse.
take a look at homegirl. Look at her ears. Look at her haircut.
Yes.
Okay, I'm showing you these styles because these styles are thousands of years old. Thousands of years old. Okay, thousands. Look at her head.
Whoa.
Look at this right here.
Beautiful.
These are the first philosophers. This woman, these are the ones who are mapping the stars. This is the one who's putting this grain with this one and making rice.
Look at her eyebrows too.
Ooh.
It's like
Look at her. Right?
intentional. Very
It is.
intentional.
All of this is intentional. All of it's intentional. Go here. Take a look.
Look at that.
Somebody's sitting there doing that.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, do
With
it.
love.
This is now. Want to show you something? You see this?
There you go.
Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. Where's everywhere?
The first Buddha, right here.
Yep.
Buddha, what is it? Siddhartha Gautama? Gautama. And peace be on his name too. The Buddha was dope. Buddhism, period, is dope. The whole concept. Guess who the first Buddhists were? You see, how did Buddha become Asian? When in fact, just according to history, Buddha was a black Indian. Buddha was Hindu. Broke away from Hinduism and became Buddhism.
Wow.
Gautama felt as though that the Hindus was preaching too much prosperity and sensual pleasure religion. Broke away from that and said, nah, the way to get out of suffering is to kill want. Get rid of your desires and you get to live a good life. Drop the eightfold path on you. Live right, eat right, talk right, be right. That first come out of her, not him. In Africa, women were the philosophers. She's the first Buddha, the first one to become enlightened. Them. Notice how it's preserved.
Yep.
Asians never disrespected Africans. They always kept it real with us. But it's in style. Face changes, but not the style.
Yep.
Not the style. And you're going to notice this. Notice the style. Face changing, but not the style. This is first, and this is ancient African too. Why your ear look like this? Why your ear look like this? Why your head look like this? Again, no Asian hair is like this. None. They don't even do their hair like this. Like imagine with all the Buddhist pictures out, why no Asian do they, you don't see nobody walking around like this. Here's Taoism. I don't have time to read all of this with you. The way Taoism, this is what I want to read. Detachment from selfishness and desires, and most importantly, Wu Wei, non-action. Wu Wei is often compared to the way of water, yields to everything it flows past. In this way, goals can be achieved effortlessly. I can't get into it now, but the gods wanted you to have their blood. That's why they allowed you to rape them. Take a look, take a look, take a look. Take a look. This is the Egyptian symbol for God. When you write, like we write G-O-D, the hieroglyph for God is this. Seated black man, the scribe. That's the letter for God. Seated scribe. This is supposed to be Imhotep, but it is a Greek version of it. But again, the seated scribe. This is God seated with the writing in front of you, or in a folded leg meditation position. Go back to homie, I showed you him before. The seated scribe. This is Greek. This is Asian. This is where they're getting it from. The style remains the same. The face changes, but the style remains the same, and the style shows you where it comes from. Take a look at them. Take a look at her, and look at the hair. Look at the ears. Look at Lupita in Yango. Look at her hair. This is called Bantu knots. Look at her hair. Look at that. Okay? This is where it's coming from. This is India. Bantu knots. Look at her hair. Only black women do their hair like this. Look, look. Here's in Yango again in a different style. Bantu knots. Bantu knots. This is what the Buddha's hair is. And all over the world, this is what the Buddha's hair is. Come back. These are Bantu knots. Look. Another version of India. Bantu knots. Look at the ears. Where do the Bantu knots come from? Look at the sheep. What they trying to, we Africans were always trying to align ourselves with these goats, sheep, rams, antlers, all this stuff, all these horned animals is what we use as depictions of God. Real quick, Book of Beginnings, the most reasonable view on evolutionary theory in those who do not accept it have not begun to think for lack of starting point is that the black race is the most ancient and that Africa is the primordial home. It is not necessary to show that the first colonizers of India was Negroes, but it is certain that the black Buddha of India was imagined in the Negroid type. In the black Negro god, whether called Buddha or Sutnasi, we have a datum. They carry in their color the proof of their origin. The people who first fashioned and worshipped the divine image in the Negroid mold of humanity must, according to all knowledge of human nature, have been Negroes themselves. For the blackness is not merely mystical, the features in the hair of Buddha belong to the black race, and Nasi is the Negro name. Keep moving. I'm not going to hit you with this. This is the Bible, the original African Heritage Bible. It's actually the King James Version of the Bible, but in it, in its preface, it talks about the origin of humanity itself. Genesis chapter 2, verse 10 to 14. We talk about where actually humanity comes from. Mother of all lands goes into that. This is the sister again. This is what they're trying to make you think she is. This is what they're saying is this. Straight up. Straight up. This is out of the British Library. I know, Joey, I'm killing you right now.
Yeah, you're right.
This is it. I'm
Yes or
out.
no? Yes or no?
This is it. This is it. Out of Africa, human. I'm going through. I'm just going through. Incredible human journey. This is humanity over 7 million years. This is sevens down here, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All of humanity, Homo sapiens. These are the first philosophers. These are the first philosophers. All of this, first philosophers. That's Lucy, by the way. That's the bones of Lucy, what was found in Ethiopia, 1974. First philosopher. This is Olduvai Gorge. I'm not going to read this to you, but what they're saying is that these footsteps are 3.6 million years old. They didn't think humans were walking upright until about 1 million years. These are 3.6 million, and it's 2 humans walking together side by side. Bipedal walking 3.6 million years ago. First philosophers. There's Lucy, I just told you about her. This is what they say Lucy is. Out of this, they get this.
That's crazy.
This. Out of this,
Haters.
they get this. That's Lucy. This is Lucy out of Barcelona. Barcelona said no, according to genetic evidence, because they do genetic evidence, they said she looked like this. 3.6 million years ago. You didn't hear me. 3.6. They got us walking around like, no, it's right here. Right here. This is what they say this is.
That's crazy.
It's just absolutely crazy. Look at it. This is the contrast. There's a difference. I want you to go home and sleep on this if it don't give you nightmares. This is it. Last piece right here. You see this? They want us to believe this. Here's the last piece. But what if this is the true image of our ancestors? Let's say, as a final thought, this is the real image of our ancestors. This is how we was really getting down. We look just like this.
Fuck no.
So, well, wait, before you say that, then this is who built the pyramids.
Wow.
Fuck them.
Dun, dun.
Now, what if that ape animal man that we grunting and growling with, and so what if it was really this? This is who was in Mexico.
I'm Mexican.
Hey, your ancestors. What if they did look? Why are we looking down on the ape? Don't call me no ape. Apes are the most intelligent. Apes and dolphins?
Yes.
Whales?
Whales
Yes,
are
These are
ancestors.
the most intelligent
Yes.
beings
People.
on the planet.
Yep.
Why you don't want to be intelligent? Because the colonists told you you are ape. You and me to go because he said
They
I
don't
was
want
an
us to
ape.
know.
I don't want and look how we don't know. I ain't no ape. I ain't ape. I ain't no ape.
It's
Hey.
aquatic ape theory.
Then don't even go with the aquatic here. Don't start that. Don't even go there. Oh, you killing me. That was I don't have no more
Maybe
time.
we can
Listen,
call you
Yeah, let's
another
go
one
there.
to
Yeah,
see
let's
if
talk
they
about
have-
it.
Can you
Hey,
say
where's
part
part
two?
two?
Where's
Stay
part
longer.
two?
5 minutes on questions since you just started up. We're gonna bring it to a close. Any questions?
One or two questions.
One or two questions. Come on, jump in. My man's back in here. Talk.
Yeah, right here I got, tell me why I got a seated man's, I got the Maya Hob calendar. I got a seated man's, he carrying a tablet of time. And it's the calendar, they were the first to have 0.
That's right.
They were the first to have, there was no 0. It actually, in fact, BC, it goes BC 3, 2, 1, AD 1,
Right.
2, there's no 0.
There's no zero.
No
Wow.
0. Their calendar had a 0.
That's right. That's right. Uh-huh. Questions. Come on. That's right.
When's part two?
Yeah, what's part 2?
You know,
Make
wow.
coffee, we'll be here. To go to the temple of hip hop?
You know what? No. Let me schedule that almost immediately. Let's schedule that almost immediately. As a matter of fact, what we'll do is go ahead and take the flash drive tonight, look it over, and we come back and talk about it. You'll be a little more abreast on what more that we can go over with here, because the book is a lot more packed. With the evidence that backs up what I'm talking about. If you ever want to, give the lecture yourself even,
Yes, teacher.
in that sense. This was the, this is the images. Oh, wait a minute, come on, questions.
Benefit for Jamaica.
Huh?
Benefit for Jamaica.
Word. My man Shaggy already beat me to.
Oh.
I just want to know, can you just emphasize again, how can we get the flash?
Flash drive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Joey, how you doing it?
On your way out, I believe you should
Okay.
grab it as mercy.
Okay, beautiful.
On the way out, grabbing the
Focus
reverse.
on the flash drive.
Yeah.
It's a digital page, get a
I made that at Staples.
Thank you.
And we can make it
flash
too.
drive.
Yes, you
I
can.
definitely want a book. That's why.
Yes, you can. And you can share it with your friends too.
Definitely would.
You can share it with your friends. Take advantage of this. You got a KRS ONE
Hey, man.
What's
yeah.
your one piece of advice?
No, dog.
What's your one piece of advice for an aspiring philosopher?
First, don't be afraid of the truth. Really speak out. We need more philosophers to speak out and speak up. A lot of us did some
You need to
research.
speak more, dog, because hey, dog, hey, everyone wants to listen.
I appreciate that too, because I'm in a unique situation where I actually have people who want to listen.
Come to LA more often.
Well, I will. I love LA. New
love
York
you,
is
dog.
cold as shit. I'm over here. Harlem is brick right now.
I'm being real.
But no, courage. Courage, that's really it.
Yeah,
A lot of us have already done the research that
Thank
the
you.
world needs to know, but we're not sharing it because we're afraid of the knowledge itself. My man just brought up the aquatic ape theory. And this is a real theory. Sometimes I throw it on my students just to jar them out of that colonial thing. Like I mentioned, who's to say that that Mexican culture did not influence African culture? The pyramids in Mexico and Africa are the same in mathematics, like identically the same. Like the same people built these structures, but we always say the African did it and then came over to the Americas. I'm not sure about that really. Information don't work like that.
Thank you for being honest.
Well, it's the truth.
I'm Mexican, so.
You got
Indian too.
Yeah, well, come on. What part? Who?
Aztec, my family Maya.
Word.
There you go.
Yaki,
see?
you know?
Word.
Yeah.
So we're all part of the family.
Let me put a period on this. I want to say something about aquatic ape theory, but I want to come to you real quick. Aquatic ape theory. When we mention the aquatic ape theory, it's about the origins of humanity. The out of Africa theory that we was just looking at here says that all of humanity comes out of Africa, that Eve, genetic Eve, African Eve, is the mother of all of humanity and so on. That's the leading theory on the origins of humanity right now. The aquatic ape theory suggests that there were apes that lived in the oceans, in the seas. Now there's a point to say that humans are made in water. Our blood is salt water, seawater. It's amazing. We can't drink seawater, but the water in you is seawater.
We're in our mother's womb, we're in water.
And we're in water and in salt water on top of that. This is this idea of the aquatic ape is that we come out of water. So if in fact humanity first comes out of water as some kind of ape or mammal, some kind of two-legged armed creature, you're not going to come out the water with dark skin, black. If the aquatic ape theory is right, you come out the water white or green, white or green. Some argue blue because blue and green turns to brown in the sun.
What color was Krishna?
Krishna was blue. They trying to point to something there. Point to something. So the first person coming out of the water, you would have straighter hair and your skin would be white. There's no sunlight. You're not dealing with melanin in that way. You're in the water. Black people, when we are in water for a long period of time, our skin lightens up. That's right. If you put boiling water on, I burnt my hand one time with tea. Burnt the black off me.
What?
I couldn't believe. I was like, "What?" First time I had 3-degree burns. I had a thing of hot tea in my hand. Spilled it right on this hand right here. Burnt all of this. All of this was white.
So
And I looked at it.
You came back?
Yeah, I mean it's here, but the way it came back, it was first white and then it became freckles, like spots, and then it came back like about a month later. I had my skin complexion, but I said, but wait a minute, this blackness then is not permanent.
It's beautiful.
But it's not permanent. This shit can come off. At the end of the day, the aquatic ape theory points to why is our hands, the palm of my hands is the complexion of those that are called white. Most black people, the palm of our hands is the complexion of white people. So when you coming out of water and you're white, you're coming out of water, you're the first human. You're coming out of water, you're white, your hair is stringy, you're in the water. You come out the water, you're walking on all fours. Sun bakes the entire body except the part that's on the ground. The palm of your hands and your feet. So the palm of your hands and your feet remembers your original color.
Thank you.
Okay? We burnt into this position. Your hair was stringy or straight, now it curls up. The sun is baking you. We're being created by the sun in that way. That's the aquatic ape theory, or what it leads to. But then now, it blows the whole out of Africa theory out the water. Because if we really do come out of water, then the original man is not a black man or a black woman, it's a white man and a white woman. Now, we don't want to hear that. Why? Because we racist. Next question.
I'm not racist. I got a question, I promise.
Yes.
Very briefly, really briefly, the Aztec word for water is Atl, A-T-L. If you talk about the lost city of Atlantis that was underwater, Atlanta is Atl. That's the word for water. And actually they worship water anyway. But my question was, I came to your lecture at UCLA like 8 years ago, something crazy, a bunch of years ago, and you talked about black ostery, the people who, the two type of original genetics whose hairs grow up to the sky and people whose hairs reach down to the ground. And when I look at the Maya, Aztec, the Incas, all their hair, it falls to the ground. If I look at kind of like Japanese people, their hair falls to the ground. If you go to Africa, their hair grows. I wanted to know what your hypothesis was for what that might point to, what genetics, what that means for our ancestors.
You know, that's an interesting analogy, because Africans are the only ones whose hair defies gravity.
Yeah.
Well, how does your hair grow up? Some of it has to do with plant life. It has to do with plant life. There's different reasons why people's hair stand up. There's other, electricity will make other straighter hair stand up and so on. The hairs on your body can stand up and this kind of thing, sorry. Oh, well, whatever. The hairs on, oh man, we can't hear this. This was a video about how they just, anyway, how they making shit up. But the hairs on your body have different reasons for standing up.
Okay.
Hair is thought of as an antenna, bringing in energy, taking in ideas. Your skin is supposed to be the largest organ on your body, and it's covered with hair. Even, you know, hair that you don't see, your skin is still covered with hair. I think it has something to do with receptacles. All humans, like male and female, male goes with female, female goes with male. Well, maybe those of us with straight and kinky hair go together in other ways as well.
Is that kind of tied to that Asiatic black man originator?
Right.
Origin?
Something like this.
Something like this?
Something like this. But it's, yeah, I can't even get into that. I mean,
but the Rastas, if you let it grow long enough, it goes back to the ground.
of course, you
which is
can't.
also crazy.
That ground, well, not if you David Hines.
Yeah.
This nigga said, no, you're right in that sense. No, there's no real, I mean, at least I don't have a hypothesis on why that would be the case. But I do know that hair moves in a lot of different ways and for different reasons and because of environment. And you pass that on to your children too. So you could be born in an environment that your hair was created in a different environment. Why are you having this hair here, this kind of thing? But really, to answer your question, I mean, I don't have a direct answer, but what you're pointing to demands answers. There are holes in our theories that answering that could get to.
Right, okay.
Can actually get to. We should think about this, please.
Yeah, just as going back to something you said earlier about the pyramids and how they were built, and I commented on aliens, and it's kind of like a closed-minded perspective of what aliens were or are or could be, and now we're talking about gaps in the equation, not knowing. So just curious what your thoughts are about aliens or pyramids or the gaps or the unknowns.
Well, I do believe that we're not the only ones in the universe.
That's right.
Everything the universe creates, it creates in abundance and different versions of it. And at least that's what we're experiencing from in Earth and looking at the universe from our perspective. What we see is variety. We see variety in everything the universe is doing. So why wouldn't there be variety even in consciousness? There's aliens amongst us right now. But you don't see what you never saw. Everything we see, we have to have a reference for it, or we don't see it. Like it's invisible. You don't see it. You have to have a reference for everything you see.
Unless you can imagine it.
No, not even your imagination. You can't even imagine what you've never seen. Like this, and it's infinite what you've never seen. In that sense. So first, I wouldn't call them aliens. I call them just life forms, other life forms. Alien is, something separate from you, and who knows if they weren't here first? What's that movie Cloverfield, where the aliens were in the ground and came out at a certain time? They were always here all along. Anyway, the point is that the alien, other life forms are amongst us right now, probably listening to this lecture, but because we've never seen their form, they're invisible to us. They're invisible to our consciousness. They could be here right now. We just don't know how to see them. So there it is. There are other dimensions that are watching us right now, like a TV show.
Yeah.
Like right now, there's other dimensions, and this is in science. Their math and string theory is pointing to 17 different dimensions all crowded amongst each other, and if you knew how to work gravity, you could mess with one dimension, could mess with another, because gravity's supposed to go through all dimensions. That's the alien part. I do think there's other life forms, other intelligence, and we're about to meet them when our consciousness raises to be able to see them.
We gotta grow to that.
We gotta grow to that level. They're here now. And their functionality is outside of our function. We don't know anything about them. The one way we're going to see other life forms is by raising our consciousness, by raising what we perceive. And then we'll see them. And then according to quantum mechanics, whatever you see, you make it up.
Hey.
The other part to that, just before I jump over here, the other part to that was the pyramids, but I forgot what the question was.
What was about how they were built and the gaps that we're understanding in these
I do
forms.
have a hypothesis on the pyramids. The hypothesis on the pyramids is that the pyramids was not the point. Teamwork was. When you actually do the work of your ancestors, you see the intent of the work. When you do this culture work, like for hip hop even, we do this culture work. So we see what's important to tell our people to do to build the culture. So in this, the pyramid is the end result of a mass class.
Yes.
There was a teacher or a group of teachers teaching another lesson. And to learn this other lesson, you had to build this. Now, those teachers that knew about time and space, they knew that the real treasure was immortality or being able to go into these other dimensions. So they put the knowledge on the wall in art. They didn't want everybody to have that knowledge. They put it on the wall, put it in art, put it in hieroglyphs, but left the treasures out for the thieves. Leave the treasures out. Treasures don't mean nothing to somebody who could build a pyramid. These stupid people, colonists, running into the pyramid. You know the pyramid had no doors. The entrance to the pyramid is a dynamited blown hole in the side of the pyramid by the Arabs who came and tried to destroy all of Egyptian culture. And then in one swipe, they tried to kill us all. They blew a hole in the side of the pyramids. That's the entrance to the pyramids of Giza to today. The pyramids was never supposed to go, you weren't supposed to go in there, you were supposed to go through it.
You said it wanted the thief entrance.
There was no entrance, you were supposed to walk through the wall. There was no entrance. One dude told me years ago, old school dude was a master mason too on another level. He told me some shit. He said, yo, do you realize that the reason the pyramids had no doors was because it was the hall of imagination? You were supposed to project yourself into the pyramid from the outside and be teleported to the stars. I never understood that shit. I just said, I'll just remember what you said. That's just the end of it, because how are you gonna do that? But the point is that you dealing with technology. One last piece. There's a drug use piece with this as well. Piece they don't want to talk about is that a lot of those figures that you see that were built, the pharaohs, the Sphinx, and these figures that are built around the temples. Egyptians were big drug users. Peyote, ayahuasca, that shit was like that shit was like now and later, so whatever. Nobody was walking around sober in Egypt. Nobody's talking about that part either. Them priests stayed high, okay? Stayed there. They was taking trips, drug trips to places. The reason I mention this is because what was supposed to happen is, the Sphinx is supposed to be older than the pyramids. Okay, the Sphinx was built by somebody else. So you were supposed to go to the Sphinx, sip this tea, and the Sphinx is supposed to come alive. All of the Egyptian hieroglyphs are supposed to be seen live. You're not supposed to see them sober. You're supposed to take something and then read the hieroglyphs. And they come alive. Those figures come alive, talk to you, tell you what's up. This is what it is.
They weren't using drugs, they were using plant medicine.
See, this sister right here.
See? Because drugs are pharmaceutical bullshit.
That's right.
This is plant medicine they were using.
That's right. Can we get that into the record? I am using the wrong title. I am using the wrong title. Drugs is a little harsh word.
If it wasn't for
Plant
language.
medicine.
Plant medicine.
Word, mind, power.
Medicinal
Yes, brother.
herbs.
That's right.
Plant medicine. Plant technology.
There we
Plant
go.
technology.
Let's go.
Plant technology. You're right about that. Drugs is the word for this other thing, the synthetic version.
The Matrix bullshit.
That's what that is. I have to.
Live in the
Thanks for
Matrix.
that. Thanks for that, because that's in the record now.
Yeah,
Yes, it
thanks.
is. But that's what they was on as well. And you talk about the ancient pharmaceutical. This was not drugs in that sense. This was the mastery of a high science. That when you take something, even peyote and ayahuasca, you meet the right priest and take that with him or her.
You mean witches?
You will see what it is. But again, you can't give this. Then this is why there's secret societies and stuff like that, because you can't tell this to the public. You can't, and I wouldn't. You know, I mean, anybody recording this right now?
We love you. We love you.
No, but the world don't. So I will put a disclaimer on that. But no, the point is that in truthful conversation, I mean, look, if I want to call names, you can call up Sigmund Freud, you know, took his cocaine so that he could see where he needed to see.
He also said to speak the truth and don't be cowards.
And he said that too.
You said that. Stand up and speak the
No,
truth.
Carl Jung said the same thing.
Yeah.
But you're right. No, but that's, and going back to what this lecture is all about, that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Stand up. Have the strength to present the evidence, the facts, and stand on truth. Not for yourself. The world needs us right now.
That's right.
Right now, the world needs us. Let me take the sister. I'll come back to you in 1 minute.
I have to say,
Yes.
before I take my PhD student
Oh, yes.
home to rest,
Oh, yes.
I just want you to know that your philosophy sparked me back in the day. You're not too far in age, but once I heard you, once I heard your voice, once I heard what you was talking about, I said, wait a minute. I'm not being told some things.
Yes.
I was raised by a Green Beret and a Korean mother. I wasn't getting none of that.
Yes.
So you were the first, you teacher.
Yes.
So I'm just letting you know that the revolution started at home.
Yes.
Hey.
And this is my 2 seeds.
Yes.
This is what they
Yes.
Yes.
I had to come. Baby girl said, Mommy, I'll roll with you. Made
Rolling.
my day.
Rolling.
It's our duty to teach our babies.
I will.
No, real talk.
Until
Thank you.
I'm here because, and she was watching, she was in the car dealing with me the whole time. I'm in there like, black God, no! But I had a choice between the show and the lecture. I'm here.
You're cool with the
Because I
lecture.
wanted to hear what you had to say in 2025 today.
This
And it
is
just came full circle, so I just appreciate that. I had to say that before.
And you've been keeping
came
it
with
real
every
from the
question.
Thank you. And
I'm
thank you for
blessing.
coming.
Yeah,
Finish that PhD.
Clinical
Finish that.
psychology,
Yeah.
yeah.
Criminal psychology.
Clinical.
Clinical psychology, yeah. I was gonna say, is that a course?
Yeah, right? But I don't wanna just walk out and not, cause.
No, thank you for that information. But please, wait a minute, stay, can I take a photo with you?
Oh, see, that's what I was waiting, okay.
No, let me take a photo with you, please. That'll be dope. Matter of fact, then we'll cut it off. You're the last question. Come on.
So when you spoke about the sages and them being the gods, you mean little gods, as in little g, or the consciousness? What's to separate their? Cause I've heard you speak before. Consciousness is God, and when we breathe, there's the connection between everyone. So is consciousness God, or did they see the specific sage as a smaller g? We would say it in this contemporary time as a little God within the bigger spectrum. What did you mean by that? The sages were the gods. Were they the gods that they were idolizing, or the knowledge, the consciousness? Can you explain a little further on
The
that?
sages are gods. This is the palm of my hand. This is an old Buddhist talk. This is the palm of the hand. This is the fist. Where did the palm go?
Inside the fist.
If I open my hand, where did the fist go?
Still there.
That's how they saw their sages. God to them was obviously everywhere. But to talk to God, to touch God, to receive from God, that had to be personified into an object, a person, or an event. Our ancestors knew, because they studied the stars, the concept we have of God today just didn't exist. It didn't exist. We're talking about people who could communicate with animals. The pygmies to this day can talk to elephants. We don't know how to talk to elephants. And I mean talk to elephants. Communicate in elephant language. Get elephants to do things that we can't. Pygmies could do that. We're talking about another group of people. Think quantum mechanics. I'm only seeing what's on the inside of me. I see God everywhere, including you. Namaste. Namaste. Namaskar. The Christ in me salutes the Christ in you.
Yes.
Are we gods ourselves, or that which is aligned with God is God? If I'm smoking crack, I'm a crackhead. If I got a badge and a gun, I'm a cop. If I walk like the Christ, I'm the Christ. Most of us don't walk like that. We worship Christ from a distance. We worship Buddha or study teachings of Buddha. They're over there and we're here. We're talking about a group of people that didn't understand. They had no conception of objectivity. That wasn't the word. Everything was subjective. The only way you knew something was to become it. There was no other way of knowing anything. You had to become it. So to know God, what has to happen?
You have to be God.
Yeah.
Because if we're a child of God, and if this woman's child, this woman right here that just spoke to you, that's her child. Her blood is in her. This is her. This is her reflection. So if we believe in God, we have to believe that we are God. And we have to walk as follows and treat everybody as God. The trees, the plants, the animals, each other. It's simple.
And that is the conclusion of this lecture. No question. That is the conclusion. I want to take a photo with you and you and everyone else coming around here. Please get your camera out right now. Thank you for listening. Thanks for coming out today. We will plan a part 2. Get your flash drive.